Now, it's a heartbreaking story, but last month, 59-year-old Yvonne Ford tragically died from rabies after a puppy scratched her while on holiday in Morocco.
Yvonne showed no symptoms for 4 months, but when signs appeared, it was too late. Within weeks, she sadly passed away.
Today, in the hope of raising awareness, we're joined by Yvonne's family, her husband Ron, and children Robin and Adam, alongside Dr. Nagat. Thanks for joining us. So sorry to be meeting you under these circumstances. You're here to raise awareness, and, you know, that's exactly what we want to do today. Could you take us back to... You were in Morocco and you were on holiday. Tell us a little bit about that trip and what happened.
Well, basically, it's we go away quite a lot. We went to Morocco for a winter break, had a great time. 2 days before we came home, we were on the beach outside the hotel, and there was lots of dogs running about everywhere, and there was a puppy actually underneath the sunbed of Yvonne's. She put her leg down, it startled the dog, and it just scratched her. It didn't bleed, it didn't really mark her. So I asked her, you know, shall we go see somebody? And she basically says, well, it's not bled, so yeah. You're unaware, you don't know. It's so that was the second to last day of the holiday. No illness, no nothing. Fantastic. Went home. A month later, still nothing, no symptoms whatsoever.
And you've been on a few other trips. You went to Florida.
Yeah, in May we went to Florida. In fact, on the 21st of Florida, she was dancing round a pole in Epcot with your granddaughter.
Sorry, Ron.
It's all right.
Take a minute, Ron. So when, and this is to anyone that can answer, when did the symptoms first arise?
So we come back from Florida on the 23rd of May. The following week, my dad and my mum went to York on a little fishing trip in the camper van.
Yeah.
And on the Saturday, my mum started with a horrendous headache, unbearable headache, to the point where she couldn't sleep at all. The Monday after that, my dad had taken her to A&E because the headache was so severe. On the Monday, she went into hospital walking, talking, doing everything. And come the Friday, she couldn't walk, talk, swallow. She had a fear of water. She was horrendously hallucinating beyond what we could even imagine. She just deteriorated within 5 days.
And Robin, I know these... Thank you, Adam and Robin. I know these questions are so hard to answer, but I know you wanted to be here to raise awareness. I think the thing, when we were talking about it earlier on, that shocked us was, in your head, you think, to start with, you think, oh, you have to get bitten. And then, so firstly, it's so innocuous what happened to her. And then the time lag between her getting scratched and the symptoms feels so long.
Well, apparently it can last up to 2 years in your body.
Right.
Before it starts showing any symptoms.
And everyone pets an animal on holiday. Can we just bring in Dr. Nagat? I mean, that's the thing that, like I said, that shocked us. So what are the stats? What normally happens between someone being bitten or saliva or blood, getting the blood in the system or whatever, and then getting symptoms?
The interesting thing is that incubates for a very long time, as Ron said, up to 2 years. On average, we know it's between 3 to 12 weeks it can incubate, but it can be months, even years longer than that. It's a zoonotic virus, and it causes inflammation of the spinal cord and the brain. And that inflammation can be really innocuous. With this case, with Yvonne, she didn't even get a scratch. I mean, I was talking to Robin earlier. She said there was nothing on the skin, but the bugs get into the skin, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you get help and seek help as soon as you possibly can. But if you're not thinking about it, as you said earlier, and you're not making the connections between the dots, this is why raising this awareness is vitally important.
Yeah. And is there such thing as protection? Because, like you say, it's not something that you would expect. When it arrives, there's quite literally nothing you can then do. How do you protect yourself before perhaps going on that holiday?
So immediately before you go on holiday, there is actually a rabies vaccine that we can give. It's available privately for travel. So we know that there are 59,000 cases of rabies or deaths across the world in 150 countries. So places like Morocco, Asia, Africa, North Africa. The world has become such a small place now that we don't think about it because we've managed to eradicate it in Europe. But people are traveling all over the world. If you have a scratch, the most immediate thing is to wash it with soap and water, clean the wound as much as you possibly can. And it's not always just a scratch that we get from kittens or dogs or bats, etc. It could even be licking of the nose and the mucosal tissue, so your tongue, your lips, your nose, your eyes. So wash all of that out. And then there is post-exposure treatment that you can be given as well. The most important thing is thinking about it and then getting the treatment, ideally washing and cleaning, but within minutes or hours or as soon as possible. But if you know that you're going to be in a place where immediate treatment might not be available, so India, Pakistan, North Africa, wherever you might be going, then it's really important to make sure that you think about getting that rabies vaccine.
Yeah, the vaccine to start with I mean, it's not even that, I've had it, it's not even that much, is it? And it lasts for quite a while, does it?
It lasts for a very long time, and there are 2 boosters as well. So you get one and you get a booster, and then afterwards you can, many years later, get a booster as well. But I think the most important thing when I was talking to Robin, Ron and Adam was the fact that we don't think about it in Europe. We could be going out and our children will pet animals. My 7-year-old, if we go on holiday, in fact, I was just saying to them earlier, I went to Morocco as well. And my 7-year-old will be very much out there as children. And children don't tell their their parents that they might have had a scratch or a bite.
Of course, when they're playing.
Exactly. And the thing is, it incubates so well. And then the symptoms of this headache that comes, these flu-like symptoms, hallucination, and then almost this spasming of the throat that can happen because you fear of swallowing. You find it really difficult to swallow. So it's known as hydrophobia. It's not that you're fear of water, but just the swallowing mechanism. But that, unfortunately, that is fatal, and there is no cure past that.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in, because you're in the fog of grief at the moment, and I know you need to channel that grief somewhere, and you're doing it so bravely with us. What's the one message you would like to send to anyone who is thinking about going to that part of the world for a holiday they should enjoy and and a culture they should dive into? So what's the one thing you'd say to them?
Just check the recommendations from the government. I mean, Morocco was only recommended for rabies. It's not you have to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of just check. We don't want the people to go through what we've gone through. Seeing your mum deteriorate in 7 days like that, we don't want anybody to see that ever again. So if we can just get the awareness out, just check. Contact your doctor, get the injections. That's all we want. Awareness. 30 years ago, it was on every telly.
I remember it, yeah.
You're so right.
So our generation are aware of it. My children aren't aware of it, and their children will not be aware of it. So we're just trying to re-bring out all the information.
Since we've put it out on Facebook to raise awareness, we have had people messages saying that they've been abroad, they've had scratches from cats and dogs, and they've then gone to get the vaccine. So I feel like we are doing something, we're making a little bit of a change, and then if we can do that for one family, then we've made a difference.
You're honestly incredible, all of you, just for being here, for, raising awareness. Incredible.
Don't forget as well, the World Cup's in Morocco in 2030.
That's right.
So anybody that's going, just beware.
Get your jab done. Thank you so much.
Well done, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. So Alison Collins was the patient you saw there in the clip. She sustained serious injuries in her partner, Nick, when a fairground rail malfunctioned. Morning to you both.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Both look well, which is good. So let's start with you, Nick. Let's take us back to that fateful day. I play football every Thursday, and a lot of my mates down in South London always go to the Lambeth Country Show. They say it's something they never miss. It's a really lovely cultural melting pot, a real sense of community. Why was it you wanted to go there?
The same thing. It's like a traditional country fair meets a reggae festival.
Yeah.
And we've been for many years. We enjoy the cider. There's usually some Chucklehead cider there and really good food. Yeah. And it's great music. So,
So why not, right?
Why not? Yeah.
So what happened? Because you weren't originally going to go on a ride at all, were you? You just got given like a free pass or something.
Yeah, I mean, we were about to go home. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening, and my sister was there and my 12-year-old niece. And her friends were on that ride. And so we're just hanging around, talking to friends. And this guy comes along and says, hey, I've got to run off. I've got 3 tickets to go on this ride. Anybody want them? And so me and Nick went, well, we're killing time. Why not?
Yeah.
We tried to persuade my niece to go on. And thankfully, she declined because she wanted to wait for her friends to come off the ride.
Yeah.
Awful. So your sister was there as well?
Yeah.
Claire. So you went on the ride.
Yeah.
Your sister's watching.
Yeah.
And then at this point, I'm guessing that you do not remember a thing.
Well, I mean, I remember getting on the ride. I remember being strapped in. I don't think Nick remembers anything from really just before the ride, before we got on the ride. I remember getting strapped in. So I was in the middle, Nick was on the outside, and then because it was like there's three spaces on the car, there was a space beside us, so it was just us two on the ride, and then that's it. I mean, next thing we know, we're sort of waking up, a few days later, a few weeks later.
I was going to say, what's the timeline between your last memory and then you waking up?
Mine was half an hour before and then probably a good few weeks afterwards. Yeah.
Because you actually spent 2 months in hospital, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
So the ride actually malfunctioned. We don't really know what happened, but it malfunctioned and it was actually quite disastrous, actually. Nick, you broke every bone in your face.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Every single bone. There was a neck injury, a head injury.
Yes, I broke a couple of ribs and the metal arm went through my stomach muscle. Yeah. So.
Unbelievable. And Alison, you broke your ribs and punctured a lung.
Yeah, I mean, I had I had fractured skull, brain injury, a broken arm, finger, clavicle, and pretty much every rib.
And your poor sister watched this. What does she remember? Can you remember what Claire says about it?
I mean, Claire's in the show as well. She's sort of, she sort of actually narrates what happened to us. She saw us go on the ride, but probably wasn't paying that much attention. Then I think when the ride started to malfunction, she realised something was going wrong, and she sort of, and then she says she saw my shoes, and that I had quite distinctive, colourful shoes on, and she saw those, and it was that point in time she realised it was us that had been injured and impacted.
You've just seen footage of a similar ride, and the thing is, you don't go on you go on these rides like. It's not like someone's just rocked up and put this up. Do you know what I mean? These rides are tested and they're safe. You think they're safe and stuff. So, obviously we don't know exactly what happened with the malfunction. But you just don't think about this sort of thing happen, especially when someone's just been on it in front of you.
It's a fun fair.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We're going to have fun.
What do you know of the timeline then, after the accident, to you getting to the hospital? So obviously the emergency services kicked in pretty quick and very impressively, correct?
Yeah, I mean, there was obviously sort of the first responder was actually on site. They had the ambulance service there at the show, so they ran down. Obviously, then people were calling the emergency services, and I think the ambulances arrived pretty quick. And sort of, I think they were doing triage to assess our injuries. Obviously, Nick was much more injured than myself. There was me, and then there was obviously a little girl and her grandfather too.
And how are they? Do we know?
I think they're okay now. Yeah. They were obviously massively traumatic experience for them.
Of course.
And you two were separated, weren't you? You went to completely different hospitals.
Yeah. Alison went to King's College and I went to St George's.
So was there ever a time you thought, when did you realise that they were filming a documentary? Because obviously you guys are kind of out of it. At what point did you know they had been filming you the whole of this time?
After I came out from hospital, my sister was round my house and she said, well, you do realise that Netflix were filming? And I was like, what? And the thing is that the filming stopped once we went off to ICU.
Yeah.
So, we have no memory of that. And then when Nick was in St George's, the producer came in to see him, and I happened to be there, and they were wanting to do some follow-up. And obviously, because we were recovering, it was okay to sort of actually join in with the show.
So what were because it sort of messes your mind a little bit. What were Netflix doing there? What was the documentary makers making before they happened on you? Were they making a kind of 24 hours on A&E style show?
Yeah, they were filming all around the 4 trauma centres in London. effectively doing similar thing to 24 hours in A&E, but
Yeah.
really focused on the critical response. So, like the ambulance service, the resus in the hospitals, the air ambulance.
So you're part of that document.
So
Yeah.
they're episode 1.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different
Yes,
episodes
exactly.
as well.
I think there's 6 episodes. Yeah.
Were you hesitant at all when they asked your permission, or did you sign up quite quickly in terms of, I don't know what your motivations were? You wanted to highlight the NHS?
Totally. I think Alison and her sister were a little hesitant, but I really wanted to give something back to the NHS, and this simply was the easiest way of doing that. Yeah. So I sort of persuaded them to be in it.
Oh, and Nick, this has really impacted your life, hasn't it?
It has,
How
yeah.
has it impacted? Tell us some of the things that you have to go through on a daily now.
The traumatic brain injuries affected some of my memory. So I'm a gardener, so recalling some of the Latin names for plants has become difficult. Because of the brain injury, I had to give up my driver's license for 6 months, and that affected work.
Yeah.
And it's the funny little things like when my tongue touches the roof of my mouth, because I've had my palate remade.
Yeah.
That is a reminder of what happens.
Doesn't feel the same.
Doesn't feel the same, no. And there's a little bit of numbness. But
What about taste of food? Is that the same?
that's the same, yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. And
cider, thank goodness.
cider, yes.
And Nick, do you feel? I mean, I'm asking this kind of optimistically. Do you feel like? Do you feel progress every day?
Yes, totally. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Really good. Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming in and taking the time. Thank you. Critical Between Life and Death is streaming now on Netflix. Let's just bring in very briefly our consumer editor, Alice. Alice, we don't want to scaremonger anyone here. So lots of families going to be going to fun fairs this summer, myself included. How exactly are they regulated?
Well, it's the health and safety executive that regulate and oversee the running of fun fairs. And obviously they should be safe and fun places. There's something called the Amusement Devices Inspection Protection Scheme, which makes sure that these rides are designed and manufactured and reviewed constantly, and it's ongoing. But who's going to go to a fairground or a fun fair and ask for paperwork? Who's going to go online beforehand and check that they're members of the relevant trade associations? You're actually not going to do that. That's not practical. So all members of the public can do is actually use visual cues. And actually, when you think of your experience at a fairground, they're there and they're obvious. So looking at the machines, the site, is it clean? Is it tidy? Is it well maintained? Look at the attendants. Are they actually watching what they're doing? Are they paying attention? Are they chatting? Are they, fag in hand, actually focusing on the ride that they're supposed to be attending? Look at the safety warnings and heed them. So if you've got a child who's jumping up and down, that's not part of the ride. You sit still. And all I can say, obviously these aren't relevant to what happened to Nick and Alison, which was a malfunction, or, the investigation is probably undergoing. Don't try and beat the height restrictions. They're there for a reason. And if you beat them, then you could be the person who loses out rather than wins. But hopefully have a safe and happy time.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you, Alice.
More from Alice later
Thank
on as
you.
well. Thank you, guys.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. Welcome back to This Morning.
everyone.
Now, we've got a story now that proves even the most savvy can be fooled by fraudsters.
The broadcaster and former Strictly champ Oria Duba thought he knew the telltale signs of a scam, but in a post online, he revealed he fell for someone impersonating a hero of his hook, line and sinker. Take a look.
I got an email from the Mel Robbins podcast team. It was from Mel. I told Mel everything. I never thought I'd be the person that was going to be scammed. Oh, didn't mention the fact that I got another email from fake Mel asking me a whole bunch of questions. Really deep digging. And it made me think, if I was more vulnerable, if I was older, if I didn't know anything about this world, and I had sent all of this information, you start finding yourself in the middle of a hole that you don't even know how to climb out of.
Oh, Ray joins us now.
Morning.
Ray, I'm telling you, this is crazy that you, of all people, have been scammed like this, and I know you're a massive fan of Mel Robbins, like we all are.
Yeah,
Let them.
I'm crazy about Mel Robbins. And
Can you explain who Mel Robbins, to people that don't know who Mel
Well, she's been on the sofa quite recently.
motivator, isn't she?
She's an incredible person. She's a self-development hero. She wrote this book, The Let Them Theory, that she came on to promote only a few months ago. And essentially, I found her at a point in my life where I was kind of very vulnerable. I was needing someone to help me find the tools to get out of something very difficult. And immediately, a lot of uncertainty. Essentially, it's about finding ways to not let other people control your emotions, your actions and your behaviours. And immediately, I felt lighter from this woman and the tools that she was.
So she's probably helped you, right?
It was somebody you needed at that time, wasn't
Totally
it?
transformed my outlook on my life, yeah. So she came in at a place where I really needed her.
And there you were, you went on Loose Women to talk about it because it was so life-changing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah. In January this year, I was promoting being on Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and I went on Loose, and I thought, do you know what? This feels like a really good opportunity to tell people about this woman who's kind of changed my life, really. I've adopted her as my own little life coach, and at that point, I was just beginning a kind of new self-development and really finding out a bit more about myself. And essentially, when you're quite vulnerable, if you find something that helps hook you out of a difficult place, it's really, really powerful.
Sure.
So I actually reposted that interview after she'd been on this sofa, after she'd done an interview with Davina on her podcast and Fern Cotton on her podcast.
I'm surprised you haven't met her.
Well, here was the thing. I was like, hold on, she's been in the country, she's on a tour. I'm her #1 fan.
Yeah.
Where's our meetup? So I reposted that interview.
So what happened then?
So after that, then my agent got an email from what we believed was Mel Robbins. We got an email from Mel Robbins.
And what did the email say?
The email said, I've heard that you're a huge fan of our podcasts. I would love to know your stories, your approach to our podcast really helps make us better. Tell us what the podcast has done is how it's changed your life.
So the fact that had come through your agent, I think I would have believed that.
No, totally.
Immediately, I thought it was a professional.
Because already it's been through one, it's been through a gatekeeper, right?
Yeah, they've looked at it, they've
someone
checked
And in a way, I thought, I've been waiting my whole life for this. So I said to my agent, Sam, I said, mate, I've got this covered. I will take this on. And I then sent an email back. I took about 2 days to collect my thoughts and then tell Mel everything, how she had taken me from a really dark place and helped me take the tools to regain my control of my life. I told Mel everything. Like 12 pages worth of information.
Oh, wow.
So like really personal
really,
stuff.
really personal stuff. And Mel was so sensitive and so caring. And I think the thing that was really insidious about it was the language that Mel was given back, because I was giving this person information and coming back so sensitively. Thank you so much for telling this story. I think it's really, really going to help a lot of people. I feel that we were drawn together at this moment. I feel like
my goodness.
what you can do now is going to change a lot of people's lives. And it was kind of everything I guess I wanted to hear.
So that's nice. When did the red flags start?
They were kind of there from early on, Dermot, and it's so strange when you find yourself in a place where you're like, this is what I need to hear. I actually feel like there was a perfect cocktail of my vulnerability, connection, and a hint of desperation, because I was desperate to meet this hero of mine. And the language was so kind of connected. It really made me feel like there was somebody who was kind of bringing out this olive branch to me. And, you know, me and our family have been through a lot recently, and even at the point where I got a second email inviting me to be on Mel Robbins' podcast, it was on the day that we were going to plant a tree in honour of my sister. We lost my sister 3 months ago. They took their life.
So you were actually grieving as well.
We were grieving.
A lot of grief.
We were grieving, and I felt like a sign. It felt like it was exactly the point that Mel should come into my life and offer this incredible opportunity, which is when the tears went. And at that point, you've seen red flags, you've seen things that you think are a little bit untoward, but you go, here's everything I knew was headed my way, I'm in. And that's the hook. That's how they get you.
So
because
after
they're
the
preying
hook,
on that
I
vulnerability.
guess my question is,
What did they
what
want?
do they want?
What do they want?
want?
Who knows what they want?
Did they ask you for any money at all?
At this point, I mean, this correspondence has been going on for about 3 weeks. So beyond that, they were
They
kind
know
of
everything
in.
about you?
There was another email. They were asking questions about They wanted to know about if I'd had a podcast. They wanted to know where I lived. There was a lot of kind of personal information that they wanted to know. I twigged kind of at this point.
Okay.
But it made me think, just at that point when I put that video out, it made me think, had this gone on longer, had I not had a professional idea about how this worked and thought to go to the Mel Robbins official website and check out the official email address, I probably would have carried this on to the point that we've got a genuine connection.
I agree.
I'm going to do everything I need to do to continue this because I'm desperately hoping and knowing that I'm going to get on that
And you was in
podcast as
a
guest
dark
at one point.
place at that time
Yeah,
as well.
so it was so easy.
What do you think that would have involved? A financial transaction? Or?
Well, let me put it this way. There was a point where fake Mel was asking me where I'm from. And I had convinced myself that was because she wanted to know where to book the flight from to send me over to Boston to be a podcast guest.
Do you know what? I think they were fishing. I think
Fishing.
that was a phishing
Yeah.
scam. They
Yeah,
were
it could
fishing
well have been.
for information.
And the thing that's really terrifying is because it's not unusual, the scamming, whether it's phishing, whether it's, I've been hearing so much about Jordan Stevens talking about sextortion with boys who have low self-esteem, they're looking for that connection, and immediately they find people online who are preying on that vulnerability, and they're giving information away, they're giving images away, and before they know it, they're in a shame bubble, a shame hole that they can't get out of. It's just so insidious. It's so prevalent, and it's really, really terrifying. Because as you said, Alison, I don't think I'm stupid.
All right, what were you?
They
So
got
how
me
did you work
hook, line,
out?
and
How did
sinker.
you work out? Was it like the extra L, or you going on the website and realising, there's no way that they use the right address, or I don't know. How did you work?
In my case, the last straw was having gone through my agent, fake Mel, because for a long time I've been saying Mel and it just seemed really bizarre. Fake Mel said, we can keep it on this email thread. It was a personal email thread. We can keep all the information here. We don't need to go anywhere else. And I thought, I just don't think that's, even coming here, there's a professional element, there's a researcher, go through the agent.
Yeah.
I thought that's just not how I thought it would happen. So I thought before I committed myself, and like I said, it was a really important family affair happening that day. And I just thought, before I really go there and commit myself to this, I just need to do a little bit of due diligence. And immediately...
I'm so glad you did.
It was so obvious that something was happening.
Do you know what? All right. So many people keep it secret when they get scammed.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're on this show talking about it, because people will see you and think it can happen to anyone.
It really can.
Be vigilant.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Thank you
And
so
what
much.
was so lovely beyond that, and if it wasn't for fake Mel, the real Mel wouldn't have got in touch.
And she has now,
Two
hasn't
nights
she?
ago, I got a DM from Mel Robbins saying...
Do you know what?
But
But
did
did you?
Connect. Who knows? Who knows?
Do you know
I was
what?
very confused.
You are going to
Like
meet
we're in
her one day.
Inception.
You are going to...
Yes.
He's going to meet her one day, I know it. She's going to watch this now and she's going to be like, I need to meet this
Yeah,
man.
it has to be
It's
her. It
gonna
can't be
happen.
AI her.
I can't
It's
wait.
gonna happen.
I hope so. I hope so.
Thank you for sharing
Love
your
you
story.
both.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, when former Little Mix star Jessie Nelson discovered she was having twins with her partner Zion, she was over the moon.
But when she announced her pregnancy to her fans, posting that she was eating for 3, she had no idea of the challenge the world was about to throw her way.
There are complications that come with having identical twins. The type of twins we are having are called monodimer twins. I am currently pre-stage TTTS, which is twin-to-twin transfusion. Every time I've gone, it's got a little bit worse. Could lead to both babies dying. But it's just really sad that unfortunately it does come with its complications, which we had no idea about. Unfortunately, the symptoms have got worse. They have to perform the procedure. It's necessary because it's going to give our babies like the best chance of surviving. Just hoping and praying for the best, really. But it's obviously just really scary.
Jessie spent more than 10 weeks of her pregnancy in hospital due to a rare condition that affects twin pregnancies and can be fatal to the babies.
Thankfully, on the 15th of May, Jessie and Zion became the proud parents of baby girls Story Monroe and Ocean Jade, who join us now on the sofa. Alongside them, the specialist who guide them through every step of the way, Dr. Ruan Willem-Sandera. So nice to see you.
Thank
All
you
of
for having
All
us.
5
We
of you.
made it.
You did it.
You made it, and they're here, and they're healthy, and they're beautiful.
Thank you so much.
So who's
Thank
who? So
you.
Jesse,
I've
who
got
are you
Ocean.
holding?
We actually just swapped right before we came on.
Oh,
I've
thanks a
got
lot.
But we still get confused.
So this is Ocean.
Ocean.
And this is Story.
And how do you tell the difference? They're exactly
Well,
the same.
we actually, when they haven't got their hats on, Ocean, bless her little heart, she's receding a little bit, so that's how I can tell. But when they've got the hats on, it's very hard to tell.
So they're 69 days old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how early did they come?
31 weeks, 5 days. Yeah.
Almost newborn, basically.
Yeah.
So listen, tell us. Look, every pregnancy comes with ups and downs and complications. So tell us when you realised it was going to be different.
Well, I mean, when we first found out we were having twins, which was just crazy.
Oh yeah.
We were like ecstatic. We was like over the moon about it.
Does it run in the family?
No.
Oh,
So it was a complete surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish you'd have seen Zion's face. He looked like he'd seen a ghost when we found out. But so I had the scan, and immediately we were told, right, the guy that was scanning us was like, right, I'm not going to scan you anymore because I actually need to refer you to a specialist, a twin specialist. And I just thought that was
Normal.
standard, normal.
Yeah.
Next day, went to see Dr. Ruan, and he scanned us. Babies were fine, and then Dr. Ruan sat us down and then basically told us all the complications that can come with the type of twins that we were having. And I just literally felt like I'd been, like, I couldn't believe, like, the percentages and what could potentially happen to them. And I almost felt like from that point, I couldn't really enjoy my pregnancy.
Yeah.
Because I was just constantly worried that something was going to happen. And we were, I think you told us that we can only really take it like 2 weeks at a time, which is just like,
Live your life.
how can you, like, we didn't even want to announce it because, and I actually had a threatened miscarriage quite early on as well.
Oh my goodness.
And from then, even then, I was like, I don't even want to announce it, which is just like, when I think back to it now, it actually makes me feel so sad because it's like, when you're pregnant, that should be like the happiest time of your life.
Yeah.
Like, it's so exciting.
And
but
you
we
want
were
to share
so,
that.
We were so scared to announce it in case anything happened. I mean, thank God, like, everything's gone well. But we had no idea that this can happen with twins.
And Zion, and as a partner, as a man, you want to be there doing everything you can, and yet you're so helpless.
100%, literally. I just felt like, whilst Jess was going through it all, I literally just felt, just words of reassurance.
Yeah.
That's all I could do. And just trying to stay positive, even though we knew kind of the risks. I was just really trying to stay positive for you, yeah.
Situation.
I
I'm
felt
so lucky I did have
helpless.
him though, because I feel like if I didn't, I'd have gone mental.
Do you know what I've enjoyed? I've
I would
enjoyed
have.
following the story and seeing your relationship, how
Oh, thank
beautiful it is.
you.
It's absolutely a beautiful
Thank you
relationship
so
of just
much.
love.
Thank
and I
you.
just was so rooting for them,
Thank
these
you.
babies to come through.
Yeah.
And part of the person who helped this happen
He's
is
our
Dr.
hero.
Ruhan.
Literally.
Dr. Ruhan, can you just tell us about the actual condition that Jessie had? Because I know the baby shared the same placenta, is that right?
That's right. So monochronic twins, identical twins, share a single placenta. And even though each baby has its own part of that placenta, there are blood vessels that join the two together. So in effect, they share a single circulation, which does mean more complications, such as twin-twin. And anything that happens to one baby has a direct impact on the other baby.
Does that happen to every identical twin? They will share them?
No. So twin-twin occurs in about 15%. So about 1 in 6 of these pregnancies.
And what does that mean, the twin-twin?
So
Is that the TTTS?
yes, the twin-twin transfusion syndrome, or TTTS. That's really related to the blood vessels that join the two parts of the circulation together. Normally, they allow blood to flow in both directions, so it's an equal flow of blood. But when you develop twin-twin, there's an unequal flow of blood. So one baby's getting just too little blood, doesn't grow as well, doesn't produce much urine, and unfortunately, that baby can become severely anemic. But the opposite is happening to the other baby. The other baby's getting too much blood flow and can go into heart failure. And so it's when it becomes significant, it's without us doing anything, unfortunately, it's got a very high chance of miscarriage.
What do you do?
Well, what we can do is to try and cure the problem, because the problem are those blood vessels joining the two together. We can put a telescope into the womb, have a look at the inside of the placenta, identify those blood vessels, and with the laser, burn them away. So we leave each baby with its own part of that placenta, and there isn't this unequal flow of blood between the two.
Cut back to these two. Right?
No, I know. And it's just so mad because even when
like, even when everyone told us, like, you're pre-stage TTS, you actually haven't got it yet. It hasn't got to stage 1.
It's only if you get to this situation.
Yeah, I still felt, and every time we were going for scans, it was getting a little bit worse, a little bit worse. But I still felt like we didn't think it was going to happen. I still didn't feel like I was going to have the procedure. I felt like I was a bit like, I don't know, in denial about it. And then when we went, and that literally happened within, like, that happened so quickly. Because I was being scanned weekly to be, like, closely monitored.
Yeah.
And I think I'd come to see you on the Tuesday, and then it was on the Thursday.
So he told you the symptoms?
No, so I'd been told, like, weeks prior to that I had pre-stage TTS, and then every time I was going to be scanned, it was getting worse and worse. And then I'd, like, have my weekly scans, and then right before I had the actual laser, Ruan had said, like, you know, I do think we're getting to the stage where we're going to have to perform the procedure. And there were symptoms to look out for. It was like if your belly gets really tight, like a drum, if you're struggling with your breathing. And 2 days after my scan, we'd gone to the park and I couldn't even walk because I was just, like, so out of breath. But it's so hard when you're pregnant with twins as well, because what is normal and what's not?
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, well, I've got twins, so of course I'm going to be out of breath. And of course my belly's going to be really tight. I'm growing 2 humans. And then it was thanks to Zahn, actually, that I said to him, like, can you feel my belly? Because I've actually got, like, I've got so used to feeling like this, I don't know what's normal anymore.
And did you feel something different, Zion?
Yeah, because I'd obviously been feeling it throughout the pregnancy, but this specific time, it just felt really, really tight. Like, my fingers couldn't go in.
Right.
Yeah, like, you know, when you press it, it goes a little bit squidgy. It just wasn't like that at all. And then so I rang...
one of the signs that Dr. Ruan had said to watch out for.
So we called and he was like, just come in, like, it's better to be safe than sorry. And then that day I had to have the procedure and it just was just like...
I felt like overnight, we literally went from pre-stage to, like, have to have the procedure now. And that procedure is not even, like, guaranteed to work. And I think that was another thing that was, like, terrifying. Even when you was just explaining it, brings back the emotions of anxiety that we had. It's just... Yeah.
So what is that procedure? And then obviously Jessie had you went into labour pretty quickly after that, didn't you?
So the procedure is a fetoscopic laser, and it is a high-risk procedure, and we only do it when the risk of not doing it are greater than the risk of doing it.
Yeah.
And by this stage, because things had got, you know, worse so quickly, we didn't have a choice. We had to do the procedure.
Can I just ask, Doc, did you feel like an added pressure that you had Jessie on your table? Like, she's telling the whole world about what's going on. Did you have that added pressure of thinking, oh, we've got to look after these babies?
Actually, I was telling Jessie earlier that when I was looking after her, she was in my environment, so I was calm as anything. Now I'm in her environment is a completely different kettle of fish. But no, you know, Jessie was one of my patients. And that's the way we dealt with it. Yeah.
But even when he was doing the procedure, he was just having a casual conversation with George, your right-hand man, and I just remember laying there thinking, oh, my God.
Unbelievable,
so
isn't it? The
calm. It's crazy.
And the serenity they have. When you're in the
Honestly.
which helps so much. I mean, the medical profession are unbelievable for that, aren't they?
Yeah,
because you're in the most stressful position that you or your family are in.
But that you need that. Like, that's what made me feel, like, reassured and calm when it was all happening.
How quickly did you go into labour after that?
So after that, so was I
10 weeks?
10 weeks, after that, which was
And the babies had to stay in hospital for a bit as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
They were premature.
Yeah.
After that, after the procedure, we had to stay in hospital for those 10 weeks.
No.
We stayed in hospital for those 10 weeks.
We practically lived in hospital, which was a real journey. But do you know what? The staff and the hospital...
Got to know everyone.
It was lovely.
I sing to everyone.
It's interesting, though, when you spend time in hospital, because it becomes your bubble in a
most
really
people,
weird way.
if you told, I feel like if most people you said, all right, you're going to spend 10 weeks in hospital, they'd be like, oh, God. But for me, I don't know if it's because where I was in, like, such a state of fear all the time in my pregnancy, I felt safe to be there. I actually didn't want to go home. Like, when there was times when Dr. Ruan would say, like, OK, you could potentially go home, I was like, no.
Yeah. Can you come home with me, please?
Yeah, literally.
What's incredible is you really want to raise awareness for this condition. You've done a marathon. You've raised a load of money. Well done, Zion.
Thank you so much. That was, like, so hard. I don't even know how to
At
describe
what point was you like, oh, I can't do this anymore?
I think it's like
mile?
going over Tower Bridge. I don't even know what mile that is. But it's like near the
13,
middle.
that's halfway.
Yeah, that's like in the middle.
So good.
And I was thinking to myself, I'm basically dying now. I've got to do that all over again now.
Yeah. Oh, you did so well.
What was beautiful, Jess was obviously in hospital, but our friends and family put her on FaceTime. So as I was running past and I saw them, Jess was just on FaceTime crying.
Mum was like, oh, you're doing so well.
Oh, but you were crying for the rest of the journey.
Dr. Ruan, what would you say if people are worried at all about this, if they've got twins and they're thinking, so what's the best way to educate yourself about it?
So I think it is really, I mean, there are plenty of charities and plenty of websites that you can look at, but it's just knowing that there is help out there.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are things that we can do to help even a really complex, difficult situation.
Brilliant.
To hopefully get a good outcome just like this.
Thank you so much.
We've got a little gift for you as
So
well.
having a hug during the break, I tell you.
Go and get the gift back.
Oh, that's
We've got a little gift for you. Thank you for bringing them in.
fine. Thank you so much.
Do you want to have a look?
Yeah.
Shall I do it? You're going to love it. There's one each. I love this morning.
Oh,
There it is.
Oh, you should have given it to
There's
us before we
two.
came on. We could have put them in.
I know, but it's for you anyway.
Oh, thank
There
you
go.
so much. That's so kind of you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having us.
We're going to have a snuggle. Let's throw to the loose women and have a snuggle.
Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, on what should have been a perfect day at the beach, 9-year-old William Tyler was left with severe burns after running across boiling hot sand, still scorching from a disposable barbecue that was used to cook on hours earlier.
Yeah, so William was left needing multiple surgeries on his burns. So today's dad, Toby, is joining us to tell us why he's campaigning for change. Toby, thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
So nice to meet you. When me and Ali got this, we were sort of, as a brief yesterday, we were just shocked, weren't we, that this could even happen, because it's, I mean, obviously the story itself is just every parent's worst nightmare, but it seems so almost improbable when it hasn't happened to you. So take us back. You're having a family day out on the beach, and you go somewhere almost out of the way to be away from the crowds. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just coming out of lockdown. It was the first time we were able to leave our localities, and so we'd gone to Formby, which is a beautiful spot, big nature reserve, and we'd walked deliberately a bit further out in the sand dunes to give a bit of space and let the kids have a bit of a break and a bit of a engagement with something nice.
So it's you and another family.
Yeah.
They're having a barbecue, but they dispose of it kind of normally and responsibly.
Yeah, but I think this is the thing, the inherent problem with the disposable barbecues is you pop them down, you light them, you use them, and they've done everything that you would expect, really. You'd think, well, now we've done with it, you let it cool, and then some people do leave them. There's a real problem with that, but they'd let it cool and removed it so that the kids could play and there wouldn't be any problem. You know, literally, it was cool. It was a couple of hours after, and they lifted it up, took it out of the way, ready to dispose of.
So they've done the right thing as far as they thought.
Yeah.
So you're having a lovely time. You're there with your wife, Claire, your daughter, Lily, and William, having a lovely time on the beach. And then the two kids go off, have a little run, and then the next thing you hear is your son, William, screaming.
Yeah, that was a...
I'm so sorry.
It was a really hard point because it was so out of the blue, and it's something that doesn't go away. They were literally just playing, and his feet sunk into the sand where the barbecue had been several hours before. And we were clueless, I think, really, as to what happened. We thought that he'd trodden on something sharp, or... so it took a minute to work out exactly what had happened.
So what had happened is that the barbecue had kind of created an oven underneath it through the sand and was very, very hot. Even though it was hours before they were cooking, very, very hot. He sunk into the sand, tried to get out with both feet, and the sand's gone over his feet and severely burnt his feet.
Yeah, so as soon as he came out, you could see his foot basically been stripped of the skin, which was... I think that was the difficult thing, because it looked extraordinary, and we couldn't work out what had done. We thought something had pierced it to take the skin off. And sorry, it doesn't sound particularly pleasant, but there was no blood. It was literally the skin had died across his foot straight away.
And then you have to pick him up because you're miles away from the car,
Yeah.
right? So then you've got to get him to the emergency ward.
Yeah.
So you have to carry him on your shoulders.
Yeah. Well, just coming out of lockdown, there wasn't a huge amount available. There was a lifeguard hut down the beach, which we ran down to try and get some help, but it was unmanned, unfortunately, so we came all the way back again. At the meantime, we'd just been, Claire and the kids had been just pouring water, everything we had to try and sort him out. But, yeah, because we were a good distance away from the main crowd, we had a bit of a struggle across the sand dunes to get to the car park to get William to the nearest hospital, which is Ormskirk.
Which is traumatic in itself,
Yeah.
isn't it?
So he was on my shoulders with his poor feet either side, and he was in extraordinary pain. And but there was nothing we could do. He was incredible, really, just managing to sustain things whilst we got him to Ormskirk Hospital initially.
So when you got to hospital, what sort of burns did he actually have?
Well, both feet were quite badly burned. They gave him pain relief at Ormskirk, and then fairly quickly they immediately transferred him to the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital in Manchester, where he went into the burns unit, and then he spent the next 9 days in there. Nice. So he needed skin grafts to replace all the skin on his feet. So he had 8 nights recovering, and it was quite a difficult time for him because the initial injury was extraordinary in terms of its pain, but he recounts the daily cleans and rebandages were. He rates that as more painful and more traumatic than the But you know, the sort of the hygiene and the cleanliness was paramount. It was just a very hard time for him.
And what situation is he in now? How is his recovery now?
He's amazing. You know, he's amazing. He's still under the Royal Manchester Children's Hospital. He is very pragmatic about it. He's very positive about it all as well. He talks very positively about what he wants to happen from here. He knows he's been through the mill, but he's dealt with it amazingly well, and he sort of has led his recovery, and he wants positive messages to come out of it. He wants people to understand. He doesn't want it to happen to other people.
Yeah.
So he's amazing, really.
So let's talk about what you want to change off the back of this. In particular, how people use disposable barbecues and how they are used themselves, the actual structure of them, right?
Yeah. So we did several things post his accident. The year after, he did a load of fundraising, and a year after that, beyond, we then launched a campaign to try and get them banned from use, which was a really difficult thing to do because it's a really politically charged statement to try and ask for something to be banned. It's not something that people want to happen. But as we unpicked it further, I think we realised that the problem with these units is actually in the construction and in how they exist in their own right, because they're incredibly basic and they're made to make maximum profit, with not a single consideration for either safety or the environment at all. And so I think this is what we were sort of thinking, really, is that if there were a few modifications or a few basic safety standards which don't exist at all, which for essentially is a portable throwaway fire tray, which reaches 400 degrees, it seems madness that there's no standards to which they have to be built.
So you want the 3 L's to be implemented.
Yes.
Just talk us through those.
OK, so one of the major problems is to do with heat transfer. So as soon as you put a unit down on whatever surface it is, then you get heat transfer. If it's sand, you get deep heat retention, which can hold for hours. There was a little boy in Lincolnshire last week who got terribly burned. Same situation as William, it was 6 hours.
Wow.
After his family had used it and moved it away. So 6 hours, he had this deep heat retention. He had terrible burns on his feet. If it's in woodland or on peat, you get the same thing. And it's not so much a problem of somebody standing in it, but it's more a problem of it reigniting and causing some of the terrible sort of environmental fires that you've seen. So this deep heat retention is caused through heat transfer.
So you need,
So if you just had some fold-out legs, then immediately that sort of danger and problem is taken away.
You'd have the air underneath as well, so you need legs lifting it and a lid as well.
So the lift thing would be handles, some way of being able to move it, first of all, so that if there is an issue, if there is sort of danger nearby, you can take it out of the way, but also so that people can remove them and not leave them on the beach and the woodland, causing that. But then a lid as well to retain the disgusting residue which is left afterwards, which helps people to remove them, but it also then ties in heat or flames if it's needed. So the 3 Ls would make a huge impact.
Toby, thank you so much. It's been great talking to you. We're going to go speak to Anna now.
Thank you.
But thanks for sharing your
Thank
story
you so
much, and best of luck with it. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So half of those going to A&E with severe burns are children. So paediatric emergency consultant Dr. Anna Alcott joins us to give us a life-saving guide to preventing and treating burns. Morning. I mean, you hear that, it's an extraordinary story.
Oh, my word, what a story. And I think a lot of the burns that happen are unpreventable and unpredictable, and things that you're just not expecting.
You really don't expect it. And the thing is, you need to know what to do in this situation. And so many people don't know what to do they?
Totally.
So you want to go with the 3 Cs, don't you? So
Yes,
talk us through
please.
those.
So you had your 3 Ls over there,
Yeah.
the 3 Cs over here. Cool, cover and call. The cooling is the key bit. So whenever anyone has had a burn, wherever it is on the body, cold running water, ideally, for 20 minutes. Now, in children, it's really important that you don't cool the whole child down while you're doing that. Because let's say they've just got a burn on their hand, that's going to be under the cold running water, but I want the rest of their body kept warm.
Right.
Obviously, if it's a catastrophic burn, so, I don't know, the saucepan's fallen off the cooker, you've got the option of a shower, you've got the option of a bath, so you can soak the whole body, but ideally you're keeping the child warm while you're cooling that area
Why is that?
of skin.
They're going to shock or something? Or?
Well, potentially you're lowering the whole body temperature because 20 minutes of cold water makes the whole body pretty chilly. And then we've got other problems. All we want to do is cool the skin down because it stops the burning, so it stops the damage.
How cold do you want that water to be?
Cool.
Not ice cold?
Not and 100% not ice. That's a really
Why
good
is
point. So ice can ironically burn the skin on its own because it's so cold, you get constriction of those blood vessels, and so nothing is moving through that area. So that can be traumatic on its own. But cool running water, so below body temperature, which is about 36, so somewhere in the 20s would be the dream.
Yeah.
And for that 20 minutes, please.
What about covering? I mean, what if it's the face? Would you cover that as well?
Well, really interesting. So the covering bit is more if you're going to come into hospital. So a lot of people think the right thing to do with a burn is to put toothpaste on it, Sudocrem on it, tomatoes, butter, oil. I mean, the list goes on.
Right.
Nothing. What we want is some good old-fashioned cling film or a bit of plastic bag. Are you up for a bit of a demonstration?
Yeah, of course. So come to you.
No, because I've got my bits over there, so don't you move. You're a little bit older than my normal patient, it has to be said, but we'll go with this.
But he's the same size, though, isn't he?
Seriously, early punch. 25 to 11.
Moving on.
Sorry, doctor. I'm so sorry about her. Can you wait outside, please? In the
No, I
waiting
want to
room?
stay with my son.
So we've cooled it for 20 minutes. Well done.
Yeah.
Cold running water, exactly the right thing to do. You think you need to come into hospital. Ideally,
Can I ask a little question?
Yeah.
When do you make that call? Like how? I mean, obviously, that's every parent instinctively will go, we should bring them into hospital. So, like, when realistically is that the right call to make?
So that's sort of part of our call bit. You've got 3 options. One is you stay at home, one is you call 111, and the other is 999.
Yeah.
Now, I want to see a burn when it's bigger than 1% of your body surface area, which is the handprint of a child.
Right.
Not quite the same in an adult, but the handprint in a child. I want to see that burn, whether it's just redness, whether it's redness with blistering, or whether it's white and deep. Come in. If it's on the face, the ears, the scalp, the neck, come in because the scarring can cause problems.
Yeah.
If it's on the hands, for the same reason, and the feet. You might be a concert pianist, you're going to need those hands, so we need all of that done properly. Any joints, if there's any burns on the joints, I want to see. So there are various things that we want you to come in anyway because we want things to be correct. So that would be your 111 or 999. Obviously, if it's a catastrophic big burn, 999 and let us deal with that. So to cover it, good old-fashioned cling film. Just tear off a strip that's going to be about the right size, provided the area is clean of clothes and jewellery. To be fair, if the clothes are stuck to the body, do not pull them off.
No.
It's only if they come off easily. You're literally covering the burn, and that will help with the pain.
And no cream at all?
Nothing. That will help with the pain and help keep it clean until you get to us. If you don't have cling film, good old plastic bag, you can either stick the arm in if it's big enough, or just lie it over the top, or cut it so that it's a nice strip and you can do the same thing.
And I suppose it keeps it clean as well, doesn't it?
Completely, and it's really important. If you stay at home with that wound, I don't want it cling filmed because you're then making a hot, humid environment for bacteria to grow. If you're staying at home because it's small, it's superficial, then I just want that to dry in the air.
Wow, Dr. Anna, that was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Not at all.
Thank you so much. Oh, that was brilliant. Thank you. Come and sit yourself down. Thank you, Doctor. You've got a lovely bedside manner.
Hasn't she got a lovely way about her?
Absolutely lovely bedside manner. Loved it.
Hi everyone, just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
Now, we've been following their charitable success here on This Morning for almost a decade now.
After setting up the Murray Parish Trust in 2014, acting power couple Jim Murray and Sarah Parish have raised almost $5 million to support seriously ill kids across the country.
And in recognition of their incredible work, last week the pair were both awarded MBEs and they join us on the sofa. So obviously, a congratulations is in order. Congratulations.
Thank
you. What have you done with the bag? Why are you not wearing them everywhere you go? I think you should have them on. I'd be literally wearing it around.
They're actually quite big, aren't
Yeah,
they?
they're
They're
big.
quite chunky. You wouldn't, you wouldn't wear it. Mine's in the office. I don't know where yours is. Where's yours?
It's downstairs, Lou.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
You both look great. Jim, look at you in the kilt. You look wonderful.
I know, it is a lovely picture, isn't it?
We took the opportunity to renew our vows. Right?
You know, you should have. You look beautiful.
That's so lovely.
Thank you.
And what was it like meeting His Majesty the King?
Oh,
He's great.
It was great. He was so lovely. He was really, really interested in what we were doing, and we had a really good chat with him, didn't we?
We got double the time with
double
him.
time, yeah.
Because we
Double
both
time,
went up
There's two of you.
together.
Two of
Because
you,
the two of us.
Oh, that's lovely.
It's amazing.
He actually thanks you, doesn't he?
He does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Comes and
And he
thanks
knows, you know, he's done his background work. He knows about the charity. He knows everything about you. It was a really lovely. It was a real privilege,
Yeah, it
wasn't
was.
it, and an honour. Yeah.
So talk us through where we are with the charity now.
Go on.
Well, so we were the Murray Parish Trust, which was, as we've just said, we raised around £5 million for paediatric facilities across the north. That's what
South.
the south. Sorry, I'm from the north. And that title, if you like, was associated very much with that effort. And we have noticed along our journey there's a huge need for the mental well-being of seriously ill children and their families. Huge. And there is no charity that's solely dedicated to that in the country. So we thought we would become that charity and step into that role. And because of that, we needed a new name, a bold new mission, and we've become the Imagine This charity, where we imagine people, we invite people to imagine, what it's like to be going through that if you're unlucky enough to have a seriously ill child, but B, more importantly, imagine a world where there's hope and the support for every single seriously ill child and their family in this country. So that's the plan. By 2035, we want to support them all.
We'd like to reach every seriously ill child by 2035.
So that's your mission.
That's our
what
mission.
You're going to
That's what we
achieve.
We have
want to
accepted
do, yeah.
that mission.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. So beautiful. And obviously it's all in memory of your daughter, Ella Jane, who passed away in 2009, aged just 9 months.
Yeah.
So when you talk about mental health of children, what happens? Do they normally get cured of cancer, but nobody looks at the deeper side of things? And
yeah, exactly that, Alison. You know, obviously with the NHS, their priority is to medically look after the child and make them better, whatever their medical. The mental health of the child goes by the wayside because there's no time. You know, there's no time. They don't have the money. And a happy child and a creative child is going to get better much more quicker than a child stuck in bed not doing anything all day. So what we hope to do is bring in drama, art, music therapy, yoga, meditation, things that children can get behind and use their imagination, use their creativity. And that just sort of gives them a little lift, and their family as well. You know, more often than not, either the mum or dad's going to have to give up work to look after the kid, the sibling becomes a carer, the whole it's like putting a time bomb in a family and setting it off.
That was such a good point you made as well. I didn't think about that. Like, you don't think about the aftercare, because you know, it's one thing to look after these kids mentally when they're there.
Yeah.
But then a lot of them will could have PTSD further down the road.
Many of them do. You know, they go on, they have serious problems in life with their mental health if it's not nipped in the bud at the beginning. So we want to get in there right at the beginning, make sure they're looked after, their brain is cared for as well as the illness that they have, and just set them on the right course, really.
I love the fact that you're using what you know. Acting, dancing, music, drama. I mean, I've seen the change, and you see children go in to do acting. They're like a little shell. They just literally open up. It's so soothing and so great for mental health.
And we've got these amazing people working for us who can adapt all these classes to children who can't even get out of bed. You know, they can adapt anything they do to suit any child. So we really don't want to leave any stone unturned. We want every child to get this benefit.
Speaking of adapting, it is incredible what you've done, because you've set up this charity, a very successful charity. And then, like anything, charities evolve, right? And the need evolves. So to be able to carry on doing your jobs and to pivot, how hard is that?
Well, it's hard, but we're surrounded by...
We've got a great team.
Supporters. We have a lot of volunteers, and we sort of pride ourselves a little bit on being a charity where very, very little of people's donations goes on the operating costs. It all goes to the cause, a huge percentage.
We're still a kitchen table charity, really, where we've got a few employees, but we try and keep the, spend to a minimum.
But to pivot on the mission as well, which is quite...
It is.
It's
But
hard
we
to underestimate
found,
how hard that is.
Yeah, the mental health of children, especially over the last 10 years, has spiralled out of control. And that's just well children. Seriously ill children, it's even worse. So, we thought this is a real gap in the system that we've got to fill it.
I'm not sure whether it's spiraled, it's just suddenly there's a spotlight on it.
Yeah.
Especially since COVID, as you were saying earlier, since lockdown, the alarm bells are going off about how much need and support, especially seriously ill children, need. Imagine that news landing on your doorstep.
But it's not just the children as well, it's their families, siblings, parents as well. You're going to help them as well, aren't you?
Yeah, the whole thing.
How's you got, what, a 15-year-old now?
Yeah,
Nell,
Now,
she's
how is
good.
She's
great. The kitchen table isn't more like this. I'll be there in a minute. Those two.
What time does she get up?
I can guarantee she won't be watching this.
She won't be watching this. We told her we were on. She was like, yeah, right, great. What channel?
But we hope that she'll do a bit of work for charity. I mean, we sort of said to her, look, you get the word out there at the school, because we're always trying to get people involved, because we can't do it without the public's help.
We rely solely on public support.
So we've said to her, make it your mission, get round that school, make sure all the parents get on board.
You know what? It's going in. She's watching you. She's watching everything. You're juggling life, you're juggling work. I know you're in a Netflix series together, but you're not working together.
No.
We're in the same show, but we don't have
any scenes together.
At all?
No, they missed the PR trick there, didn't they?
I know, it's quite nice.
What's that about? Can you tell us about that?
Geek Girl.
Geek Girl.
Season 2 and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3. So it was on, wasn't it, last year, Geek Girl?
Yeah, it was.
It's a series of books that have been made into a drama series. It's great.
About a neurodivergent teenager who becomes a model.
A model, yeah.
Wow.
I'm the headmaster. Sarah is the head of the model agency.
Oh, wow. Both heads.
Both heads.
Both heads.
And can you tell us about... Oh, go on.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what he's going to say.
Star-studded concert.
Yeah, who's going there? Are we going?
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be really good. So we're doing a big Christmas concert. It's our first sort of big event out of Hampshire.
We're both free.
Yeah, you'll be coming, don't worry. Who have we got? We've got David Tennant, Olivia Colman, David Melder Staunton, Hugh Bonneville, Amanda Holden.
That's quite heavyweight.
All coming to read and perform.
Yeah, they're all going to perform.
If you could bring out one of your tricks.
Yeah,
we could be runners.
Yeah.
You could be runners. We've got Sylvia Young's dance school coming to do some... Oh, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be so good. So tickets will go on sale in October. And we've got a golf day.
We have a golf day at Goodwood as well.
Yeah,
People want to put a team together.
Yeah.
Goodwood.
You're not doing a fishing day, because you love your fishing.
We should do a fishing day.
I will do a fishing day at some point.
Yeah, you do that.
You can come and do the fishing day.
Pretty much how.
And you know the King likes fishing as well. You're in with the King now.
He did bring that up, actually, in our chat.
Yeah. I may have worn a tie.
With fish on it.
Fish on it.
Yeah.
And he
loved it.
Yes, he recognised the tie.
Wonderful. Does he fish then?
He does, yeah. He does. He's a big salmon fisherman and a big advocate for salmon conservation. So, yeah, we had a brief chat.
Well, I bet...
they were like that, move on.
I bet you were like,
I was like that. Come on.
I want to go for dinner. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Imagine This is the charity. Everyone look it up.
Yeah, get behind us.
Yeah,
it's
get
going to be
behind
great.
you. Thank you so much. Now,
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Next, today, thousands of adults have turned to weight loss injections in their battle with obesity.
Yeah, and while a relatively new drug is available to kids, would you feel comfortable giving it to yours?
Well, that's exactly what Ashley Hamilton did with her then 11-year-old daughter, Sophia. They join us now from their home in Idaho in the United States. Good morning to both of you.
Morning, you two.
Morning.
Oh, morning, Ashley. Now, let's talk to you first, because obviously you struggled with your weight growing up. Tell us a little bit about your battle with weight.
I was 12 and my dad took a photo of me at a swim meet, and I didn't know that anything was different about me until I saw that picture. And the weight just I just looked different than the other girls on the swim team. And then it just kept piling on, and there was always an excuse from doctors as to why I was gaining weight, whether it was having like a bout of depression when I was younger from losing my aunt. It was always an excuse, but nobody ever took blood work and nobody ever figured it out until I took it into my own hands at 36 and a half.
And so then you went on the weight loss injections. Did life improve like pretty much straight away?
Yeah, drastically. I used to wake up in immense amounts of pain when I got out of bed from getting in a rollover accident when I was 18, and my whole body would hurt, my hands would hurt. They would be like this in the mornings. It took me forever to get out of bed. And within literally a week of me taking my first injection, I got out of bed, and I remember it happening because I just got out and all of a sudden I just realized like I wasn't in pain.
Sure.
Yeah, and they call it the food noise as well. Did that disappear from you as well?
The first day. I remember the very first day that I took it. I was sitting at my desk. I work from home, and so I was sitting at my desk, and it was 3:30 in the afternoon, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't eaten anything all day, because I didn't think I was going to have to remind myself, because that had never been a problem.
Yeah. And Sophia, good morning, my sweetheart. Now, listen, you was getting upset as well, a little bit similar to your mom. You had issues with regards to weight. Tell me a little bit about some of those feelings that you were going through.
I had started to gain weight in about like second grade, and kids were bullying me at school, and then it started to send me into a depression in second grade. And then I had to, and then later on, I gained a ton of more weight, and then I lost a tiny bit on my own.
Yeah.
And then I ended up gaining a lot more weight before school again. And then I saw my mom and all of this, and I was like, I want to do that. And so I had a conversation with her.
How did that make you feel?
Which part?
Like the bullying and stuff?
The bullying was definitely not ideal at all.
Yeah.
It was like just very, very hard to deal with, because I was like, I used to think I was pretty, and now I can't even look at myself in the mirror without like hating myself.
Ashley, it's important to stress here, because people probably see a headline, but actually, you know, you have always instilled exercise, you've always instilled a good diet, and it was just very, very difficult to keep the weight off. So how hard was it for you to make that decision for Sophia to take the weight loss jabs?
It wasn't hard at all. When she came to me and asked if this would work for her, I told her yes, but we have to get your blood work done or your labs done to make sure that there is like an underlying problem, because if there was nothing showing right, then that is something that we would have said, okay, this is diet and exercise type of thing. But it wasn't hard at all for me to decide that. I had done enough research that in general on these medications that I knew that if she needed it, that this was what we were going to do.
Yeah.
So, Sophia, you actually started taking the jabs, and what did you notice straight away about how you was going about eating and things like that?
I noticed that like my mom had to like remind me constantly. She was like, you haven't eaten yet. You should probably eat." And then um and then I started to lose weight, and then I started to like realize that like I actually had a lot of inflammation in my face and like in my arms and in my hands and all of that, because I used to wear like certain sizes and rings that were like pretty high for my age. And now I can like wear normal sizes for my age and rings, and I never got to experience that before.
Let's bring in Dr. Zoe. Thank you, you two. We'll back to you in just a sec. Rules are very different in the UK to the US, but the one thing that I picked up there is you have to remember to eat the things that are good for you, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you imagine your appetite is vastly reduced, it can be very tempting to just eat the things that you might like, you know, pizzas or fast food.
Or just not eat at all.
Or just not eat at all. And especially, obviously, for children, children are still growing, they're still developing, especially at this age as well, going through puberty. So hormones are very important. So it's incredibly important that children who are taking these weight loss injections are supported by a dietitian nutritionist, because they've got to be getting in the right amount of protein, all the essential vitamins and nutrients, and likely might need supplements as well. So really important. I mean, here in the UK, there is one type of weight loss injection which is licensed for children aged 12 to 18, both for type 2 diabetes and for obesity. It's very rare it's used. You know, it can be prescribed by a paediatric endocrinologist or by what we call a tier 3 weight management service. But it is rare. But there are lots of interesting studies and trials going on at the moment where they're looking at Wegovy, which is what Sophia took, and they're even being trialled in children that are younger as well, children aged 6 to 12, and then separately children aged 12 up to 18 years old. And I know that there's a lot of scepticism about it, and there's a lot of stigma with anything that's related to weight, which we need to get rid of. But it is incredibly important that we are monitoring these children and looking at what potentially the longer term implications are. For children, there's the same list of side effects as there can be for adults, but we also need to consider that their bodies are still growing and developing, and could there be any further? But I think the thing to consider, you know, Sophia's a perfect example of this. Sophia already had insulin resistance, and her blood work was showing that she had pre-diabetes. What you always have to consider is the risks and potential risks of a medication, but weigh that against the risks and potential risks of doing nothing.
Right. Yeah.
When you've tried all the sensible things, the exercise, the changes to eating, the psychological approach, for some people, like Sophia and her mum, it's just a genetic thing. Your genetics predispose you to having problems with your weight. And then we live in the environment that we live in. There's this phrase that genetics load the gun and environment pulls the trigger. And if you have a certain set of genes, even if you try your hardest with all the lifestyle, it can be practically impossible to maintain a healthy weight. So, you know, it's tricky, it's complicated, there are extra considerations with children, but in Sophia's case, it seems it's been really helpful for her.
Yeah, well, you both look incredible. You absolutely look incredible. And just out of interest, did you have any side effects at all?
I have had minimal side effects. It just kind of depends on like the dose and stuff like that. But for the most part, it hasn't been bad at all.
What about backlash from anybody else? Has anyone had anything to say to you or tried to put you down for doing what you did?
Oh, it's kind of crazy because a lot of people deal with a lot more backlash on social media from people. But for me, it's actually been more in my real life, dealing with people that I can tell are judging me. But it doesn't bother me. It's a way for me to like educate more people on what the reason is that I started.
Sophia, just out of interest, are you still doing the injections now?
No.
So you're not doing, but you're not. You look great. Have you maintained your weight as well?
I was for a while after I got off of it, but then I started to gain a little bit of weight, which is normal if you still have a metabolic issue in your body.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, both of you, for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Just last words for you. What if people are looking at this and they've got kids that are obese? What would be your advice?
Well, I think this isn't something that's going to be rolled out in the UK anytime soon, with good reason. It's still experimental. Actually, 22% of children aged 10 to 11 are leaving primary school with obesity. Wow. It's a big problem. We need to get rid of blame, you know, we need to say it's not about willpower. Nah. There's bigger issues going on here. So I think it's great that these are being trialled, but for the time being, what we need is, one, services that are set up to support children with obesity in a holistic way, but also, added to that, we need to treat the cause. We need to look at the environment we're growing up in. If you were born 100 years ago, it was almost impossible to develop obesity because of the environment. That environment's changed now to a point where 1 in 3 adults will have obesity. We need to change the environment. That's ultimately the cause, that for some people, they're more predisposed because of their genetics.
So would you say it's more about prevention rather than cure?
Absolutely. It's got to be about both, but we need to put a huge emphasis on prevention.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning. But first, everybody's talking about it. It's the viral video that got the world talking. 120 million people, in fact, have seen the clip of what looked like a happy couple caught on kiss cam. They looked really happy, but I think it was the reaction. Let's have a look at it.
Yeah. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on. You're okay? Oh, what? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
It's just how Chris started with it. Oh, look at these two.
I know.
No. However,
it's like he knew exactly what to say.
Well aware now, it was revealed the love-struck pair were in fact having an affair, and the woman responsible for posting it is Grace Springer, who joins us now from New Jersey, where it's 5 a.m. Thanks for getting up, Grace.
Of course, guys. How are you?
Nice to see you. So, Grace, just talk us through the moment you were filming because you wanted to get caught on camera, right?
Exactly. I was hoping to see myself on the big screen, and I love to capture moments, so that's why my phone was out in the first place.
Oh, so you were filming the camera as if to hopefully it was going to come on you.
Was being hopeful.
And then obviously you caught that moment, you saw it, you saw this lovely couple. And if you think about it, if they just relaxed and just chilled out, that probably, would you have even uploaded it? I don't think you would have. But it was that reaction. And at what point did you think, you know what, I'm going to post that on social media?
So in the moment when I filmed it, I didn't think much of it. But of course, everyone was kind of chattering. There was over 50,000 people at the concert. So it was a hot topic. But it wasn't until after the concert where I was debriefing the moment with my friends. And I said, let's review the footage. Let's see if it really looks that bad. And I think it does.
Yeah. And like this, I mean, you didn't do anything wrong. I mean, but do you feel, not maybe guilt's not the right word, but are you, I don't know, would you have posted it again if you're looking back? I mean, you know, do you feel guilty at all?
I definitely feel for Andy's wife, Megan, his family, and everyone else who's been hurt in the process. But as I said, there was over 50,000 people, and I'm not the only one that caught it on camera. So if it wasn't me who uploaded it, I'm sure someone else would have.
And presumably, you didn't think it was going to be seen by 120 million people?
Absolutely not.
And what's so crazy is it's literally gone mad. There's been so many memes. People are now doing things with like sports teams. You've got sports teams taking the mickey out of it. You've got people saying that they're on a diet and being caught out with their food, their McDonald's or Burger King. So it's like it's literally taken on a life of its own. Did you ever imagine this was going to happen?
I never would have imagined that this would have happened. Had I had known, maybe I would have thought twice.
Yeah.
What was the reaction in the actual stadium? Was everyone talking about that moment? What was it like?
It definitely caught everyone's attention, especially because Chris made the announcement, kind of questioning their reaction. But after that, I'm not sure if you're too familiar with Coldplay, but their concerts are magical. So at least for me, I moved on pretty quickly and enjoyed the rest of the night. Yeah.
For sure. It's also important, if anyone's kind of questioning your motives here, Grace isn't part of the TikTok Creator Fund. So it's like you're not making loads of money from this, are you?
No, I've actually made no money from the video itself or the views. It's not monetized.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, lovely chatting to you. Thanks for getting up for us.
And also, it's stemmed such a massive debate about affairs and things like that. Should they have even gone there? Should their identity maybe been protected? It's stemmed a massive conversation.
Well, thank you, Grace.
Thank you, Grace. Yeah. So, Alison, what do you make of it?
It's just incredible because you see that moment where they turn away or try to hide, and at that point their lives completely implode.
Yeah.
He's lost his very, very highly paid job. He's lost his marriage. They're probably both going to really struggle to work again. In that split second,
isn't it?
It all changes. Their whole future has changed out of all recognition.
Yeah.
But, you know, you've got to be aware nowhere is private anymore because everybody has got a camera, they can film you. The idea that they could get away with that is just bonkers.
The thing is, I feel like filming someone without their permission, just if you walk along the street, and it's not because I'm in the public eye, if I see anyone get caught, I've got mates of mine that are just quite private people, they don't want to be someone else's content. And I always feel there's a sort of entitlement now that people tend to just film things. That said, this is a different scenario. I think if you're at a concert and you know that this happens, what on earth are you doing?
But also there must have been people around them who knew them, who knew what was going on as well. I mean, they'd only been working together a few months, so it clearly... You know, there was clearly an open secret, perhaps, amongst some.
Come on, let's get the big man's take.
Nick,
what are you saying,
thank goodness we've never been caught, eh, Nick?
Well, there was that Lulu concert a few years ago, Alison. Let's hope they never find the kiss cam from that moment. Look, this was Viva La Video, wasn't it? It was quite incredible when you think about it. Alison's absolutely right. You'd have thought they'd be wise to it. It's not as if kiss cam has just been invented. Indeed, these guys are Americans and they do it at baseball, basketball, every possible sport you can think at. You've always got kiss cam. The one thing I do have to say, though, of course, and Dermot, you're right, we all have had a good chuckle about it. There are, I think, from memory, 4 or 5 innocent children caught up in all of this who sadly are watching mum and dad break up, and I very much doubt that those two marriages, are going to get back on track. So that's horrible. Their respective mums and dads went to do a day's work. They ended up canoodling or whatever you want to call it on kiss cam, and sadly now their homes will be destroyed by breakup and divorce. So that is the sage point. But if only Grace was still on the line, Alison, because you and I have got those concerts to look forward to this summer, and she could have told us where she's going to be, and then we'd know how to behave.
I know. I'm literally going to be standing a foot away from you.
We see it. You two hiding in plain sight.
We'll be in disguise, have big hats on and moustaches.
The spokesperson for Astrometer, where I think they both.
Andy worked there, didn't
Our
he?
leaders are expected to set standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met. Andy Byron has tendered his resignation, and the board of directors has accepted. We're continuing to do what we do best, helping our customers with their toughest data and AI problems. I mean, the only thing I'd say is there's so much going on in the world that's just unspeakably bad at the moment. It feels like I completely agree with you, Nick, about the families. But it does feel, I mean, this kind of worldwide pile-on for two people who are, having an affair, which isn't great, but it does feel like, let's put it into a bit of context.
Oh, completely. I mean, it is very tragic for the families, but it was just that the reaction, I think, is what's really... If they just sort of styled it out and not done anything, then so many people would never have known, and maybe...
They wouldn't have uploaded it.
We wouldn't be talking about it now.
Yeah, but it's a natural reaction, isn't it?
Yes.
We shouldn't be here together. We have to hide. Oh, my gosh, everybody's seen us hide.
And she's the head of HR as well, isn't she?
Has she left a job as well?
It's not... I don't think that's been said yet, but, I mean, presumably she would have to refer herself.
She's the head of HR.
Yeah, she'd have to refer herself to HR.
She's looking after herself.
More from you two.
I have to say, well, just briefly, I'm a little concerned. My fiancée said exactly what Alison said. They should have just carried on hugging and started. She's not going to Glastonbury on her own again. I'm telling you that for nothing. That ain't happening.
Oh, my gosh. Well, listen, guys, we're coming back to you
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Two people who were aboard the Carnival Triumph, unfortunately now known as the Poop Cruise, were cruise director Jen Baxter and passenger Devon Marble. Good morning to you both. Very nice to see you.
Morning.
Jen, let's start with you first of all. How many people are on that cruise, by the way?
So we had about 3,500 guests on board and about 1,200 crew.
Right, and you've been cruising for years and years and years. You've done this a million times. You've been on the ocean forever. What happened that day when the fire first broke out?
Well, we were having a lovely cruise. It was the last day of the cruise. I'm in bed, 5:30 in the morning, sleeping away, and here's the announcement, Alpha Team, which is a code for crew. There's a fire on board. But, you know, it happens. You know, sometimes there could be a fire in a bin or smoke in the, you know, kitchens or something, you know, so you kind of go, whatever. So I'm thinking I'll just go up to the bridge, which was my job to go, and, you know, it'll be something small, and then I'll make an announcement and go back to bed. All the good. So when I went up to the bridge, as soon as I opened the door, I knew it was not just like a little situation. It was like there's people kind of around and like bells going on and like, you know, radios going off, and I was like, oh.
So then what happened? You lost power essentially to the entire ship.
Not straight away.
Okay.
We still had some power, so I was thinking, oh, they'll just...
It will be okay.
It'll be fine, right? All right, they'll put the fire out, we're good to go. And then, boom, the power went.
So having no power essentially means there's no aircon, like, how does it affect the boat?
Well, so the ship stops, so you're just floating. No air conditioning, like no... you can't cook any food, so like no kettles, no cup of tea.
The motor stops. You're just drifting. I'm guessing.
Toilets, everything, just drifting off, down.
So Jen, you're cruise director at this stage, so you're now working with the senior management of the ship to try and work out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Devin, you were a passenger. Tell us a little bit about. Thank you for joining us. You were there over there in Ohio this morning. Tell us a little bit about the group that you were with and why you ended up on that cruise.
Oh, I was with my entire wife's extended family, and I was meeting them all for the first time, trying to make a good impression on my soon-to-be father-in-law.
Right, OK, so it was quite a pressurised environment, a lovely, fun environment, though, because I think the cruise had started, as Jen was saying, and you see the pictures, it looked like you were all having the most wonderful time, like you would on most cruises.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was the time of our life. We were playing giant chess. We were floating in hot tubs and just having a blast. And we were so excited to go to Cozumel. We ate until our bellies were full, delicious food. It was exactly what you expect from a cruise.
So what happened when what happened when it suddenly went wrong, Devin? How did you all start dealing with the emergence of the fact that the ship was drifting and there was suddenly no power on board?
Yeah, I think everyone, like the first 30 or 40 minutes, you're like, is the ship going to sink? What's going on? And as soon as you realize we're going to keep floating, you calm down a little bit, and then it's what's really happening here. And you start walking around and seeing smoke coming out of like the red fin thing that's, I guess, the exhaust. And you realize, oh, we're just floating. So we're just stuck. And then I don't think people realize how much the engine keeps the boat upright vertical, because suddenly everything's kind of crooked. And that was a real problem when the bathrooms stopped working. I don't think anyone expected that one either.
No. And that was, so let's come to Jen, because that was actually a real problem when you're all sitting around going, right, we have no plumbing because the majority of the toilets are electric. There's suction, isn't there?
Yeah.
Whose idea was the alternative options? And just describe them for us.
So we were sat round, going, we need to do something. We've got to do something because we don't know how long we're not going to have power for. And it was me that said it in joking, right? Well, we can go have a number one in the shower, easy enough, right? And I'm like, well, for the number two, we can do it in a red bag. And it makes sense. Even now, I look back and go, what else would you do?
Because the red bags were sort of biohazard bags. They were there for particularly toxic thick bits and pieces, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that your father-in-law there, Devin, with one of the bio bags?
Yes, it is. That is my now father-in-law. His name's Manny. He's wonderful.
So you did it.
He saved his bag, Jen.
So you did end up marrying his daughters. So the story actually does end well.
Yeah, we had a happy ending. We got 2 kids, and me and my father-in-law get along great. We are very close.
Well, you'd have to be, I'm guessing.
Nothing bonds you like the need to use a plastic bag if you've got to go to the toilet.
But, Jen, I don't understand.
Best friends now.
Why didn't the boats come out and kind of pull you back to shore? Why didn't that happen?
Well, they did.
Eventually.
They did eventually. Because we didn't know what was going on. So they put the fire out. So at that point, we're like, okay, we're all safe. We're going to be okay. We're just floating. So it was when they went to assess the damage that they went, oh, now we know. Like, it's kind of had burnt through all the wires, so there's not going to be no hope.
Right.
So that's when they said, well, we're going to send tugboats out.
Right.
But tugboats are really slow.
Yeah.
So it just takes forever for the boats to get there.
How long were you drifting, Jen, in the end?
In all, it was nearly 5 days.
5 days.
And what about the air conditioning? How about keeping morale up and things like that? What happened there? Well, especially it was Mexico, so it's boiling hot too.
It was hot. The weather was really nice. So no air conditioning. So people were taking their mattresses outside and like making like tents out on the deck and sleeping on sun lounges. Crew as well were like, you know, in the crew areas. Because it was just super hot inside and like kind of musty and stagnant. And, you know, once we realised that it was going to be a long time till the tugboats came, I'm like, oh, we've got to keep these people entertained.
So what
have some fun, right?
What did you do?
So, you know, I got all the dancers and the musicians and everybody, and we did like normal stuff. We had trivias going on and dance classes and quizzes, and the comedians were there. They did comedy because we got a little bit of power as we went on. Right, we were kind of getting bits going. So comedians on. We actually did a crew talent show, which was amazing. And one of the guys played guitar, and he had been one of the firefighters.
Wow. And Devin, was this enough distraction for you? They also opened the bar, didn't they, at one stage or another? There was a free bar.
They did open up the bar. I think it was enough of a distraction for a little bit at a time. But as soon as your body tells you that it's time to go to the restroom, you really have to deal with a real problem. So I really appreciate the crew. I think they did a phenomenal job because they were in it with us. We were all in it together.
But what I love in the documentary, you were quite ingenious, though, Devin, because you refused to believe there wasn't a toilet somewhere on the ship that worked, and you found a secret loo somewhere, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if it's because the ship would like tip and all of the fluid would just go one way, and so then maybe a toilet worked, but I did find one. I did not have to use a red bag.
So you didn't. Wow. Jen, did you end up having to use a red bag?
Yes.
Wow.
You know, you gotta go, Ben.
Yes.
And then when the tugboats attached and started pulling you back, when they finally got there, the ship tipped too.
Well, it was listing quite the whole time. Like, if you've been on a ship, you know that. Like, with the wind, blah, blah, it happens. But because we couldn't use the ballast to keep it, you know, stable.
Steady.
So it was listing, which you're not in any danger, but it's just... Oh, it's strange to be listening, and because the wind was blowing the ship as well.
Well, Carnival crews have a right of reply. A thorough investigation following the incident revealed a design vulnerability, which was corrected and led Carnival Cruise Line to invest more than $500 million in support of our commitment to robust safety standards. We are proud of the fact that since 2013, over 53 million guests have enjoyed safe and memorable vacations with us.
And you worked with them for another 10 years, had an amazing time?
Yeah, I loved it. It was like the best.
Do.
Absolutely loved it, yeah.
And Devin, you got a river cruise, maybe not on the high seas, is that right?
Yeah, maybe a river cruise.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
All of that, the number of people waiting for life-saving organ transplants is at an all-time high, leaving Britain in critical need of new organ donors. I had no idea.
No, the NHS estimate that 8,000 people are currently on the UK transplant waiting list. Last year, more than 460 people died whilst waiting for a transplant.
Well, we're very lucky today to have police officer Terry Archbold joining us on the show, who knows exactly how important those donors are, because his actual daughter, Bea, spent more than a year in hospital waiting for an urgent heart transplant when she was only 2 years old.
Terry joins us now alongside Rachel Roughton, who is the Regional Head of Organ Donation. Morning to both of you.
Morning.
Thanks for
having us,
Terry. Well, tell us about your daughter, Beatrix, but Bea, right? So she was born in 2021 and pretty healthy to start with.
Absolutely, yeah. So Bea was born fit, healthy, no issues whatsoever, little cheeky baby. And then at 15 months old, she suddenly fell ill. Deteriorated very, very quickly with heart failure. And it was...
You just thought she was kind of breathy to start with, those COVID, right?
Yeah, so we'd been to Florida.
Wow.
And we'd come back and Cheryl, Bea's mum, and older sister Eliza had caught COVID.
Yeah.
And we saw similar symptoms with Bea, breathless, lethargic, and at that point, not overly concerned, but it went on for a couple of days. And then she stopped drinking. So we rang 111. They sent an ambulance round to the house. Ambulance crew came, checked her out. Not, again, massively concerned, but said, take her to the local A&E, get a more thorough check done. So Cheryl did that, and I expected to be home in a couple of hours with antibiotics or whatever, and never expecting to be told that they picked up a heart murmur and that she was in heart failure.
And so that was something that it's not something that runs in your family particularly? Or?
No.
No, just out of nowhere almost.
Out of nowhere, yeah.
So then suddenly every parent's worst nightmare. What's the next step?
So from there, B was taken over to the Freeman Hospital, seen by the consultants to work out what the condition was, what was happening. And she was diagnosed with a condition called dilated cardiomyopathy. So it's an enlargement of one side of a heart, which was then causing the heart to fail and not function. They tried to assist that with medications for about 4 or 5 days, and it didn't work. And she wasn't getting enough of the medications into her. She was taken for emergency surgery to fit a Hickman line. So for yourselves, with viewers, if you're not sure what that is, it's a surgical attachment that goes into a blood vessel, generally in the shoulder area, so they could administer more medication more efficiently. B came out of that surgery, and we received a phone call to say, she's OK, you can come over and see her, she's doing well. And we walked into the intensive care unit, and there's a parent's room, and B's bed was 2 beds up from that parent's room. No sooner had that door shut than we heard alarms. And we heard staff shouting for equipment.
I mean, that's just unimaginable, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And Cheryl said to me, well, you look at, we knew it was B. We just knew.
It's an instinct.
Yeah.
And you'd have heard almost beeping. You wouldn't know what, but I bet you just something.
Yeah, and I heard them ask for a backboard, and I knew why they were asking for a backboard. And so Cheryl told me to make sure, so I looked out and I could see the team working on B.
Oh, God.
Yeah, horrendous.
I mean, they can tell there that, you know, even though this has a happy outcome, those moments, that just takes you right back.
It takes me right back to that moment in time. And shortly afterwards...
So she had cardiac arrest?
She was, yeah, so they saved her with CPR. And shortly afterwards, the medical team came into the room and sitting as close as we are now, and presented us with a choice. They said that if she had another cardiac arrest, she would not make the night.
Oh my.
The only hope she had would be to go on the urgent transplant list.
Yeah.
And to get her there, she would need to have a Berlin heart, which is what is on this.
Yeah.
Here.
I've not heard of this, but I did see about this, the Berlin heart. So this is like almost tubes doing the job of a heart.
It's an artificial heart.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's bring Rachel. So, I mean, to start with, what state are we at with transplants at the moment? Like, I mean, we've given some quite stark statistics there.
Yeah, I mean, there's more people currently waiting on the transplant list than ever before. The numbers are around 8,000 at the moment, and that doesn't truly reflect how many people really need a transplant, because there's around 12,000 people that need one, but because of various reasons, they're not well enough to have a transplant. They're suspended at the moment. And unfortunately, the demand doesn't meet the need. So we're not able to supply the amount of organs we need to. And there's a real issue with families saying yes to organ donation. I work with families in the unfortunate situation where their loved one's going to die. So B had an organ donor, and obviously a brave family had to consent for their child's organs to be used, and that's what we really need to focus on is raising awareness about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And sorry to ask a stupid question, but obviously a baby's organs, you need a baby. But at what age do you become an adult? And so a 16-year-old or an 80-year-old can donate to a 16-year-old. I mean, does that work?
It depends on the size, because obviously some children can be quite large and some adults can be very small. So everything is done on a weight and size ratio. Yeah.
So the shortage is just across the board.
It is, and obviously for a child, of B's age, you need a child to be able to donate.
And how common is the Berlin heart? I mean, is that is obviously quite a complex piece of surgery?
It's more common than you'd think. There's, I mean, Terry, you can talk more about the children that you saw in the Freeman.
Yeah, so B spent 14 months living at the Freeman Hospital.
With this Berlin heart, while she waited for the transplant.
While she waited for a transplant. So it's a bridge to transplant. It keeps them supported, pending. So that was doing the work of her heart for her.
Yeah.
While she waited for a donor to be found for her. And during those 14 months, there's 8 beds at the Freeman. They would routinely be filled with similar children, similar ages, some older, some even younger. And there's a unit at Great Ormond Street as well, and that's it for Berlin hearts in the country. And we have seen, there's a little girl in Ormond Street now called Penelope. Similar, it was like watching B's story over again. But there was a period where she couldn't get in hospital because there wasn't capacity being reached. Luckily, a bed became available, and she is now at Ormond Street going through the same journey that B did.
Do you know, the thing that I read in my notes that you said last night that just destroyed me was that you saw her friends on that ward. Yeah. Some of them just didn't make it.
Yeah, at one point there was, I'll not mention the names, but B's bed was it was her home, it was in the corner of the ward, and within the space of a week, both the children either side passed.
It's heartbreaking, whichever side of it you are on, because you're either a desperate parent hoping for a donation, but as a parent, you know to get one, it's heartbreak for another family, and you know very well, don't you, Terry? Because actually, it's quite a full circle story for you.
It is.
Do you mind talking about what happened?
No, I think it's important.
Yeah.
So our experiences around organ donation, obviously our time with B in hospital taught us a lot. But the biggest learning for us came from when we lost our daughter Isabel. And we faced the organ donation question with her. And my immediate response, when the team came in to ask, my immediate response was no. Every instinct I had going on at that point, every emotion was protective. I didn't want anybody to touch her.
Of course not.
Cheryl, my partner, her response was yes. So you've got two parents, very similar circumstances, same emotions going on, same grief, same loss. And we did consent. And the thing that swung me was, Cheryl made me stop and think that the pain that I was experiencing, the pain that we were going through, would we want other families to feel that? And if we could do anything to prevent that, then it's the right thing to do. Cheryl's yes came from a prior seed of thought. Earlier in life, she had read a magazine article about child organ donation. I think she might be getting a hair done or whatever, in a waiting room somewhere. But she picked up a magazine, and in it was an article that set a memory in the back of her mind that you never expect to use.
No.
You could never imagine being in a situation that would come to the fore of mind. Life put us in a situation where it did. And it was that seed of thought that enabled Cheryl to process that moment and enabled her to make me think of others and to say yes. And that's why the education is absolutely key, because every transplant, every organ donation that takes place hinges on the ability of those that are asked to process that moment and say yes.
And quickly.
Yeah.
We do have a happy ending, don't we? She did get her transplant.
She did.
How was that moment? What was the process like?
That moment was incredible. It was such a whirlwind of time because you've spent... For us, we spent 14...
Hurry up and wait, isn't it? Right?
15 months, and the reality is we know what it meant to the other side. So it's like living an endless torture. Every day wondering, is this the day that we lose B? Is it her last day with us? And enjoying every moment. And at the same time, very conscious of what it means for her to come home.
Yeah.
That if she does, her life from that moment... Every breath, everything she goes on to do is because of somebody else.
Such a good way of putting it.
I can just see her out the corner of my eye. Should we bring her in?
Absolutely.
Little B.
Hi,
B. Do you want to come and sit over here with us?
With Daddy?
Yay!
Hey, Bea, how are
Look
you?
at you.
Good to see you.
Hi, babe.
Oh, look, you can look after this little baby. There you go. Look.
How's it going, Bea? You good?
Are you good?
It's nice to see you, Bea.
I mean, to be able to see this story, and a bit like you're saying about, it's about talking about it. This is what we're
Yes.
doing today. You're being very brave. This might have an impact on someone else's decision when you see, hello, thank you very much. I'll take care of this little baby here. Rachel, what is it about? We understand that it's such a sensitive subject, but is there a bit of an issue with because the laws changed, didn't they, where you actually have to opt out now of organ donation, but it doesn't seem to be quite as simple as that once it actually comes down to it.
Yeah. So yeah, the law did change, but it was kind of one piece of a big complex jigsaw. No one thing is going to increase organ donation. What's really important is at the point of a conversation with a family, when they're in the very unfortunate situation that their loved one is going to die, they need certainty about what their loved one wanted, and the best way to do that is sign the NHS organ donor register. But not only do that, it's talk to everybody, those that are closest to you, your friends, your family, whoever is going to be there in that moment. You need to let them know what your decision is. And we know that over 90% of families will always support that decision when they know what it is. But in the situation...
in the eye of the storm, and, you know, Terry articulated it so brilliantly there, you immediately go, no, don't touch, you know? And would that be the same for parents as well? The parents of kids need to work out quickly what they want to do if the worst ever happened to their child.
Absolutely. So, obviously, the law doesn't apply to anyone under the age of 18, and it's the parent's responsibility. But I had a baby last year. As soon as I came home from hospital, I put her on the organ donor register. So, as a parent, you can do that. You can have those conversations together. Before no one ever expects to be in this situation.
Of course. But you could be saving a life.
But you could be, and I think as a society we don't talk about death and dying. No. We don't do it, and organ donation is just one of those things that we should consider and make those decisions known, because you never know what tomorrow's going to bring, unfortunately.
Yeah. Thanks both of you for coming in.
That was amazing.
Thanks, Terry.
And thank you, little
We've lost her, mate. I don't know where she is now.
She's getting ready to do Morning View next.
She's going to be hanging out with Giles and Tim.
Yeah.
I did say she might be
much needed dose of sanity and logic for the news review.
Dermot, is the fruit real on this morning, or is it fake? Because
I've made the mistake as well.
I was going to say, we're about to find out, I think.
Bea, do not eat that fruit.
If you would like to register, which we think is so important, to be an organ donor in the UK, and you feel you can, please do. You can sign up online through the NHS Organ Donor Register, and that's at organdonation.nhs.uk.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
And then all of this week, we've been bringing you the findings from our This Morning Cosmetic Cowboys campaign, looking into the dangers of unregulated non-surgical treatments.
We surveyed 2,000 women as part of our exclusive research, and today we can reveal some of the most shocking findings yet. We found that less than a quarter of people don't know what's in the injectables they're having administered, and that nearly half of cosmetic procedures happen in non-clinical settings.
Well, yesterday, we put our findings to the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, who had this to say.
It's really shocking. Because of the lack of regulation, we've basically got cosmetic cowboys that are basically, I would not even use the word treating women, they are practising on women and causing serious catastrophic damage.
Well, our next guests are advocating for the government to bring in much stricter laws.
We're speaking now to Dane Knight, whose partner Alice tragically passed away following a Brazilian bum lift. He's here alongside best friends Kelly Crees and Julie, who were left fighting for their lives following the procedure, and Ashton Collins from the Save Face Register. Good morning to you all.
Good morning.
Hi, Dane.
Hello.
Hi. I met you last year. Ben was off. Can you tell me a little bit about the procedure that Alice had? I know you didn't even know about it.
No, I didn't know she was getting the procedure done. Obviously, when we had the phone call, I didn't know what the issue was from the hospital. It was just more kind of just get there and, then kind of find out the current situation. But, prior to that, going back off the information, because we talk about a lot, about the procedures, as far as we was concerned, the information that was available at that date, at that time, it was deemed as safe, which is now, I'm now learned that it's not. It's that back then and even now, people have, who have been misled or lied to, saying that these procedures are safe, and they're not if being carried out by the wrong people.
So Alice, as far as you were concerned, was just going for a day out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you get a phone call saying, you need to get down here because something's gone desperately wrong. As you've said, you now understand a little bit more about it. Alice didn't understand that there are the dangers involved in this.
Alice didn't, and also many others. Around that time, even you just typed in that procedure on Google at that time, it was deemed as safe.
Had you heard of it? Had she talked to you about the fact she thought that maybe this might be...
It was discussed, it was looked into. And kind of, as far as I'm concerned, the bum, the breast area and the lipo one was all the kind of the question mark ones, even though, the research done online and, information given off people, it was, it said it was safe. But, now, and all the information that, I now have, it's not.
Alice had you've got five
Very beautiful children,
beautiful daughters. If she'd have known the risks, if she'd have known and that information had been out there...
No way, Kat, she wouldn't have. No chance.
No.
No chance.
Well, we actually told Wes Streeting about your story yesterday. And he had this to say after. He told him, have a look.
Thank you.
In the coming days and weeks, we're going to be setting out the regulations. Over in the next week or so, you should hear from the government on what we're doing to clamp down on cosmetic cowboys here at home. When it comes to overseas, it's more complicated, but I am working with the team across government and also with other governments around the world to help try and clamp down on this, and we'll keep you posted. But the other thing I just wanted to say, I mean, just hearing Dane speaking there and the thought of 5 children being left behind because they've lost their mother in these circumstances, that motivates me to act. And I hope that for people watching as well, it's just that really the worst possible reminder.
So hearing the Health Secretary acknowledge what you've been through and understanding that that's motivating him, he's telling us that we're going to find out in a few days exactly what the government has planned.
OK.
How do you feel about that?
From his words, that's comforting to know that they are taking this, from his words, seriously. I hope that they're going to follow through with this and, actually actions speak louder than words in the nicest, respectful way.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to see. We want to see action.
We want to see action.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of hoops and loops, they need to go through, but, something needs to be put in place sooner rather than later before this happens to another family.
Kelly and Julie, it was a similar procedure that the two of you ended up experiencing, and unfortunately you're here to tell us about it now, but it nearly couldn't have been like that.
Yeah.
How did you find out about them, Kelly?
We went on to Instagram. They had a post on there for BBL, non-surgical BBL. It was a good price. They had celebrities on there that had it done. So obviously straight away you think celebrities going there, they've got to be the best or, they're reputable. Went and had the procedure done. I'm not allowed to mention who it was with, but I can say who did it, which was a gentleman called Ricky Sawyer. And within 48 hours of having the procedure done, I fell terribly poorly and ended up in hospital with sepsis. It was a bit kind of touch and go at that point.
Can you talk us through what happened there? Because I think the two of you were together while you were being injected.
Yeah, we went together, that's correct.
And you were in the room?
We weren't in the room when they were injecting.
No.
They wouldn't allow us to be in the room together.
OK.
Because they didn't want any filming or photographs, obviously.
Yeah.
Which we thought just...
And what was the procedure actually like?
When I had the procedure done of the BBL, I fainted 3 times when I was having the procedure done.
3 times?
Because he was trying to do it with me standing up, which now, obviously finding out afterwards, that's not the way you do the procedure. And when you have the lidocaine put in, obviously, to numb you, straight away you're going to be a bit dizzy, or it affects people very differently. So he was trying to get me to stand up to have it done, and continued to do it.
So, Kelly, you fainted once. Was that not enough of a warning to say, right, I think we should stop? This is something's not quite right here.
He, at that point, he was explaining to me that sometimes the lidocaine, this is what happens, so you just need to give it a moment and it'll be fine. And then he was like, have you eaten? And I was like, yeah, I've eaten, it's fine. Are you sure you've eaten? Yeah, to try and push that I may have gone for this procedure and haven't eaten. It was like my blood sugar had dropped or something like that. And then at that point I was thinking, well, maybe it is. Maybe I haven't eaten enough, or I haven't had enough sugar today, or anything like that.
But you wanted the procedure so much that even though you fainted 3 times, you were still, you still didn't go, do you know what, maybe I should leave it here?
Yeah, no, at that point I thought it was still safe, I'll still go ahead with it.
Judy, were there any red flags for you?
It was similar, really, to Kelly. He was very boastful when you got in, so he liked to tell you how many procedures he was doing that day. He was back-to-back.
And the celebrities and things like that.
Yeah, all about the celebrities, how many he's doing, how many he's doing per week. But it's difficult. When you go, I mean, we're in our 40s, but when you go with your friends, you're kind of all excitable. Even though you're grown women, you're still almost like children when you get together. And we're getting all giddy and having it done, and it's advertised as no downtime.
Right.
You know, so you literally go in looking one way. You go in looking one way.
Which is one of the things everybody always says. If it sounds too good to be true,
it probably is.
It probably is. When did it start going wrong for you, Julia?
Mine was I'd say about 3 days. I just started to feel a little bit unwell, a little bit feverish. And at the site, it was getting really red, and sort of matter was coming out of it, like seeping out. So
We've actually got... This is a little bit of a warning, because we've actually got some footage of the wound and actually what was seeping out of it. Just beware, this is, if you're squeamish, do turn away. But this is a sort of a sign of how infected your wound got. This happened multiple times to you, didn't it?
Yeah, so I think this clip just shows one little puncture hole with it coming out, but that would heal, and then my skin would open up in a different site and start seeping out again. Then that would heal, and then another little hole would appear somewhere else.
You must have been so frightened.
Yeah, it was really scary, and you just get blocked the minute you make contact with them to ask for help, or, you know, my doctor wanted to know what I was injected with, and I was just...
And they weren't interested in helping you out?
No, they just blocked me.
Blocked us straight away. Yeah, not interested.
Yeah, so it's scary because you don't know what's... At that point then, the fear sets in and you're thinking, oh, my goodness, what's in there? You just have no idea, and they just don't give you any information. So you're just kind of hoping for the best, getting antibiotics from your doctors.
Yeah.
I mean, mine did then clear up. I didn't go on to get sepsis like Kelly, so I'm just really grateful for that. But
So you're very ill, both very ill. Unfortunately, you're here today to talk about it. But there was other procedures as well, Kelly. I think you had filler injected into your breasts?
I had the 2 lots. So I had the BBL done on 2 days prior, and then back 2 days after, I went back and had my breasts done, and then it was 48 hours after that then it kicked in. So I think...
Did you... Is that a normal procedure, having filler injected into the breasts?
It was quite a new one that they were doing. But it was supposed to be a lot better than having implants.
Sure.
Because obviously it dissolves, and within 6 months you haven't got that lasting kind of it being in there, the silicone.
And what was the reaction to the filler being injected?
That was what caused the sepsis, I think. Yeah. The BBL would... to be honest, I don't know. It could have been a kind of mixture of both, of what they're putting in, yeah.
How do you feel about the risks that you both took to have these procedures now?
I would never now, with everything that's come out now, obviously this is 2 years prior, I would never have gone through that procedure at all. It's just, you're blinded by Instagram sometimes, by celebrities having it done, all things like that. You're absolutely blinded.
We didn't really know then what we know now.
No.
Because it was relatively new, wasn't it? So it was this new thing, and we were all excited and, you know, getting a little bit older and deciding we want to look a little bit younger. And this is offering it to us, you know, no downtime. We can just nip out to Essex, go in, get it done. No one's even going to know. I'm not even going to tell anyone.
And that's one of the dangers, Ashton, isn't it? That people actually don't realise just how risky this is.
Yeah, it's being promoted on social media as being a risk-free, cheaper alternative to the surgical counterpart. There's no downtime, and it's being sold as this dream. And actually, in reality, it's an absolute nightmare. We've supported over 750 women who have had very similar experiences to Julie and Kelly. Over 50% of these women have ended up in hospital with sepsis. Over 40% have needed extensive corrective surgery. They've been left unable to walk, unable to work, unable to lead any semblance of a normal life, all because of how these procedures are being promoted online.
So what does Save Face, which is your campaign charity, what are they trying to do with regards to BBLs particularly? Because obviously the tragedy for Dane and his beautiful daughters is that Alice isn't here because of a procedure that she thought she could have really quickly.
Yeah, and in our view, Alice's death should never have been allowed to happen. We warned the government in 2023 that this was a crisis waiting to happen. We said without action, lives would be lost. And we are just hopeful that they will do something before anybody else has to pay the ultimate sacrifice at the hands of these unscrupulous people.
What would you like to see the government do?
So we're calling for a restriction, so these procedures can only be carried out by registered plastic surgeons in CQC-regulated environments, because even then, in the most skilled of hands, the risks are still really high. But they can manage those as much as possible. And most importantly, they can deal with potential complications, whereas the practitioners that are doing them on the high streets, they are lay people with no medical experience. They're often buying cheap and unlicensed products, importing them from abroad, and they're doing them in really unsuitable settings.
We've seen in Scotland they're going to try and bring in better regulation and better policing of that regulation. Is that something you'd like to see down here in England and Wales as well, or how do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, we'd like to see, first and foremost, the highest risk procedures like these being dealt with and being taken off the high street so that they can only be performed by registered plastic surgeons, because more lives will be lost without that crucial piece of legislation.
And if anybody is sitting at home watching and thinking maybe I might do this, or they're looking at Instagram, what would be your advice to them, Ashley?
With the liquid BBLs, my advice would be don't do it. Where the risks significantly outweigh the benefits, and they do in this scenario, it is always best to stay clear. It's like you said, where something sounds too good to be true, it generally is. And even if you are lucky enough to escape having a complication, oftentimes the outcomes are disastrous as well in terms of how they look. So it's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Dane, it's not been that long. We're so sorry for your loss, obviously. How are you and the girls coping?
Girls are going strong. There's a credit to Alice.
Oh.
I know. Obviously, the damage is still showing. And it's ongoing, especially with the ongoing police investigation. So it's never, we can not put it to rest, but kind of get that grief process started, because then it just kicks back up again. So it's just an ongoing nightmare. So it's hard enough becoming just single parent, or then becoming losing someone, but then all these bits together is just unreal.
Overwhelming.
Yes.
But let's hope that even one person's listening and watching today, maybe considering it, will have heard your story, heard the girls, heard from Ashton, and will say it's just not worth the risk.
It's not worth the risk.
Just not worth the risk. We, in response to ITV News' investigation, non-surgical clinic Essex said all of our clients are aware of the risks during a pre-consultation before treatment and agree by signing a consent form. We've completed hundreds of body filler treatments without any complications where proper aftercare has been followed, although they weren't interested in helping you.
No, not at all. And there was no risk
assessment for?
No, there was nothing there.
We did reach out to Ricky Sawyer, who was the practitioner, so-called practitioner, who delivered what happened to you for a right of reply. He didn't respond. We haven't heard from him at all. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank
you for sharing your experience.
Yeah.
I mean, it's graphic at times, and it's really, really brutal, but it's hugely important
And
as
the
well.
more information that's out there, the better.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashton.
Thank you.
Oh, hello.
Thank
you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Joe joins us now alongside the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting. Good morning to you, chaps.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. That is so cute. I mean, you can't help but stand up, get motivated, and it's perfect because it's just 5 minutes a session, Joe.
Yeah, I'm quite emotional to see it, on TV and to see the response it's had this morning. We went to a school yesterday and launched it, 44 kids in a room. I just pressed play and they were just from the age of sort of 4 to 7 years old and really got moving. All of them walked out with a big smile on their face. And this is what it's all about. I'm so passionate about this. And it comes back to my childhood. Like, I needed sport and exercise. It changed my life. It helped me with the chaos of living at home with an addict and some with mental health issues. And so I know the importance. And when I connect the dots between movement and exercise and how I felt, it completely changed. It was my therapy from a young age. So I'm trying to, again, continue the legacy of PE with Joe, get young children moving more often and having fun in the process. And I really hope this does that,
And unquestionably, Health Secretary, having a weapon like Joe Wicks in your armoury is hugely valuable, isn't it? Because of the way he can connect with young people and inspire them to want to have fun. So don't think about it as a chore. You think about it as just a lot of fun.
Yeah, honestly, Joe's absolutely right. Yesterday, the kids got involved straight away. It's really bite-sized. You can do it in your living room. You can do it in your bedroom. You can get your family involved. And look, the truth is that if the government had tried to produce something like this on our own, it probably would have been, I'm sorry to say, like boring government video.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I've just turned up looking like this morning. It's like kind of a really good kind of physical manifestation of how boring government can be. And the great thing about this partnership we've got is we're putting some resource behind it so we can make more of these videos and they can be more freely available. But you've got like Joe's passion, energy, dynamism, that comes through in the clip we just saw briefly. You've got, the animators behind it who are absolutely amazing. Like, you see that through the images and some of the projects they've worked on before. Universal have come in to give it great music and artists have kind of been falling over themselves to say, yeah, we want to be part of this. Because we've got 1 in 5 children leaving primary school with obesity. So getting children active, getting them out and about, and also meeting kids where they are. Lots of them are on YouTube. They're doom scrolling like the rest of us, I'm sorry to say. I've got nieces and nephews and they're on their tablets
devices
all the time.
Yeah.
And so if we're meeting these kids where they are and giving them something fun and easy to engage with and motivational, then we're keeping them active, and it, as Joe describes, helps to create healthy mind, body and soul.
Yeah. It's so funny when you say, you've got Joe helping you out and you're the sensible one. But, I mean, it is a really serious matter. I mean, 1/3 of children are obese. Would you ever consider the weight loss jabs as a factor into that? And could that help at some stage?
We're not looking at them for children at this stage.
Right.
But adults, yes. And actually, there are lots of people in our country at the moment who suffer with really serious obesity. And lots of people have tried, by the way, on some of the weight loss programmes, on diet changes, on exercise. But some people have reached a point where it just feels like too big a mountain to climb. And that's where I think weight loss jabs can play a role. It's really important that you get advice from a doctor. It's really important that they're not just available to people who can afford to fork out what can sometimes be about $2,500 a year for these jabs. So I'm working with the NHS to try and make them more widely available. But for children, I think we can get this right first time if we do a whole range of things, like what Joe's doing, getting kids more fit and active, with schools, some of the work we're funding in schools on PE and games to make it fun and accessible. That's all going to make a difference. Acting on things like the targeting of junk food advertising at children and young people, that's going to make a difference. The work we're doing to make sure that school breakfast clubs, school meals are much more nutritious, that's going to make a difference. So all these things taken together, I think, are necessary to tackle what threatens to be a really serious obesity crisis for our country. It's costing the NHS about £10 billion a year.
Yeah.
Joe, your PE with Joe was such a massive hit during the lockdown because everybody was stuck at home and the kids were able to get involved. Have you noticed the sort of drifting away of children in terms of their fitness and what they're doing activity-wise? And what do you think the government needs to be doing more of to try and get kids engaged and trying to reverse some of the issues we've got with obesity?
Yeah, look, I've obviously visited hundreds of schools, and my only dream is that I could visit every school. But when I realised I couldn't, that's when the animation idea came up. It's scalable and it's accessible, it's free. It can be like 5 minutes at home with your kids or in between a lesson at school. And it's just like, it's just giving more children more opportunity to move. And, we live in a world now where, as a parent, I'm also addicted to my device. Like you said, we're addicted to our devices, so are kids. The algorithms are so sticky, you want to be on it. And it's like, how can I disrupt that passive viewing on screen time and make it an active thing. So you might do one workout with the kids and you might go, you know what, I feel great, I'm doing another one. And suddenly you've done 15 minutes of exercise. So although 5 minutes is like a bite-sized chunk, it could really be a catalyst for more exercise and more movement. But look, the food thing is that, you know, I'm working on a documentary at the moment around UPF and that's a big challenge. My eyes are being open to something completely different. Ultra-processed food and marketing and all that. So we need to have a talk about that another time.
Yeah,
but
we should.
Essentially, like, it's about education, it's about inspiration, it's about giving people resources, you know, and this is one of, you know, I'm really proud that I'm sitting here with you, Wes, because I would have done this anyway. I self-funded this. No one really wanted to invest in it. We self-funded the first 5 episodes, and I would have done this anyway. But the fact that you've given us the seal of approval and you're helping us get it in front of more people means you believe in it, and it's going to make an impact. This is money well spent, you know. This is an animation that actually is really going to create an impact, and I'm so happy that it's actually come to life. You know, it's been a long time, it's been a 2-year journey. And here we are.
It's fantastic that you're doing it. As you pointed out, I think childhood obesity is costing the NHS £11 billion a year. There's huge issues that we've got. It would be remiss of us not to ask a couple of questions on some other stuff. So we've got the health secretary here, if that's OK. We've been...
I'll give Joe the difficult one.
Yeah, Joe can take this. But we're talking about our campaign that we've been running for the last few days about cosmetic treatments. We've surveyed over 2,000 women trying to understand what is happening in this really unregulated industry. Over 50% of the women said that they had to be referred to get some medical advice after they'd had some treatment. 15% ended up in hospital, needing hospital care after they had treatment. What the question everybody's asking is, how on earth have we got to the point where there is no regulation and these things are able to happen? Because this is, again, costing the NHS millions of pounds.
And it's really shocking. And I take my hat off to the women who've been brave enough as well to come and sit on this sofa, to share their stories in the media, to actually try and make sure this doesn't happen to other women and to share those experiences which have been personally painful and harrowing for lots of these women. So you're right. I mean, because of the lack of regulation, we've basically got cosmetic cowboys that are basically, I would not even use the word treating women, they are practising on women and causing serious catastrophic damage. So we are going to act, and in the coming days and weeks, we're going to be setting out the regulations we're going to put in place to clamp down on this sort of practice here at home. But there's also this issue about overseas as well, whether that's not just women, but men and women going abroad for cosmetic procedures. We've had some really awful stories where people go away, take up an offer that looks too good to be true, to be honest, come back. The NHS has to pick up the pieces, and those poor people are left picking up the pieces in terms of their lives. Got people importing cosmetics as well.
So this is one of the things. So we had Kaylee on yesterday, who was injected with an anti-wrinkle treatment that had been imported from Korea, not licensed over here, eminently available on the internet, eminently available via this practitioner. I just want to play you a little clip of what she said on the show.
And I thought at one point I was going to end up going blind because my eyes were so bad. I couldn't leave the house. I was crying every day. Could barely open my eyes. I could only see from the bottom of my eyes.
Is the expectation it will recover?
They said I've got to wait for my nerves to regenerate. I wish I'd never done it. It wasn't worth it.
So she was driving her little boy to school. She got another baby in the back driving, and all of a sudden had double vision.
We need what is clearly apparent is, and you're saying in the coming weeks and months, regulation needs to come in, but it's urgent. It's really, really urgent. You know,
so you'll see. I mean, you'll see in a matter of days the regulation we're going to take to clamp down on some of the misconduct here at home. When it comes to clamping down on practice overseas, that's more challenging. When it comes to things that are imported,
but unlicensed stuff that's being imported, as well.
That's more of a challenge. But I am working across government to try and tackle it because, and in the meantime, what I'd say to people watching is, like, the thing about the UK high street or online retailers that are in the UK is that you can be confident that the products that are being sold are products that are regulated here in the UK, meet safety standards and are safe to use. Like, if you walk into Boots on the high street today, you can be confident about that. If you're importing things from overseas, you can't have that confidence. And if you're seeing things that look too good to be true, chances are they're too good to be true, and you don't want to be in that situation where you're on this morning saying, I really wish I hadn't done that. So in the meantime, I'd urge people, be really careful about what you buy, stick to what you know at home, and, you know, friends, family, if you're having those sorts of conversations, give people that advice. But ultimately, we've got a responsibility to act and to try and keep people safe. So we'll keep you posted on what we're doing.
I mean, there are also those people who aren't lucky enough to sit on the sofa, actually. We've lost
loads
people.
and loads of women.
There's a chap called Dane Knight who came on the show. Take a look at this clip. He's talking about his wife.
She was a loving, caring mother of 5.
Yeah.
She was loved and adored by many in the community and beyond. Which that showed on, you know, on her day when she was put to rest. Yeah, I didn't know it was too late until we got a call from the hospital. Yeah, I think I would hate to see another family go through, you know, more kids saying, you know, burying their mum.
Yeah.
Another partner burying their partner. I know, such as Ash, let's say, Faces has been trying to push this now for a long time, which we didn't know, but it's just not common knowledge. More needs to be done.
So tragically, Alice lost her life in 2024. At the time, you said you were committed to taking action against those carrying out these procedures. This is your quote. It's absolutely disgusting that there are Wild West operators practicing actually dangerously in cosmetic surgery, putting people's lives at risk. And we've seen that in the tragic case of Alice.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
Dane's going to be joining us tomorrow.
children.
What can we tell Dane that you've done as Health Secretary since this happened in 2024?
So we're pretty much ready to regulate, to take action here at home. When it comes to overseas practices, that is more complicated, but we are working on it, and I'll keep coming back to.
So when will we get? But I mean, you're telling us there's something coming in a couple of days, but of course that's quite vague as well. When will they? Can you give us any idea what those specifics will be? The regulation may be the sort of what could happen to people if they aren't regulated. They're doing these. They are those cowboys, and they get caught.
Yeah. So in the coming days, we're going to set out the regulation we'll be putting in place to clamp down on these sorts of
this week,
cosmetic cowboys. Probably in the next week or so. I always have to get permission from the bosses in terms of when we're putting stuff out. But over the next week or so, you should hear from the government on what we're doing to clamp down on cosmetic cowboys here at home. When it comes to overseas, it's more complicated, but I am working with the team across government and also with other governments around the world to help try and clamp down on this, and we'll keep you posted. But the other thing I just wanted to say, I mean, just hearing Dane speaking there and the thought of 5 children being left behind because they've lost their mother in these circumstances, that motivates me to act. And I hope that for people watching as well, it's just that really the worst possible reminder when you're seeing things being marketed online. Just think really carefully before you take up things that look too good to be true.
There is an urgency, isn't there? Much like what Joe's doing with Activate and what you're combining with, the urgency to get things moving for childhood obesity is really important, as is this. So I hope you understand why we wanted to ask you those questions.
No, quite right, so yeah.
Have you done a session with Wes yet, Joe? Have you done
We went to a school yesterday and we got the kids moving. I was so enthralled with the kids. I don't know if you've done any burpees, but this isn't also just a thing about obesity. This is more than just the external. This isn't just about the body. We have kids with serious anxiety, depression, getting pulled out of school. They're really struggling. So this is about holistic approach. This is about encouraging movement for the mind. Because when you get the mind right, the body will follow. The transformation will come, and food choices will improve. The family's energy lifts. Like, this is so much more than just about body image and weight loss. You know, I think we need to talk about that a bit as well. Because kids are struggling a lot. You know, this will help. This is going to make them laugh as well.
But they can find all the episodes of Activate on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, so the YouTube channel, the first workout went live today. I think it's had like 10,000 views in the past hour. So it's on the Body Coach TV, and then every week there'll be a new episode all through summer holidays. And we've released it now because parents really struggle to get kids moving in the summer holidays. So one a week for 5 weeks. We'll have a little break, and there's more to come. More moves, more exercises, more challenges. And it's really, really a positive thing. So give your kids a chance to give it a go, and yourself. Ben, you're already in great shape. Have one, see what you think, and have a go as well.
I like the idea of the next cabinet meeting starting with a little Activate session. Get the whole cabinet.
Yeah, you won't be seeing those pictures.
But they'll do it, though.
It's a serious point, though. I mean, I find like one of the hardest things I've found about sort of the impact of sort of my job since I've taken it on in government the last year. You know, as you know, I went through kidney cancer a few years ago, and I started to get much more active, thinking much more about my diet. The nature of my job means, like, my exercise has suffered, my you know, you sort of grab and go stuff. We've been talking about this with Joe going around the country. So look, I suppose in some ways the great thing about being Health Secretary and responsible for the nation's health is that my own starting point is a lot different to you two. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
So
Good
I'm
thing
probably not going to be on the front of Men's Health in quite the way that you
Why
were
don't we
then.
make that the challenge, though, Wes?
Yeah.
How old are you now?
Oh.
42.
You're 42. Honestly,
8-year challenge,
there is
all right,
no
you're on.
way that you can't turn that round. And as Joe will know, it's not about the picture at the end, it's the journey, it's what it gives you.
Absolutely
is so
right.
much
And that's
more
the other thing I just want to say to people watching as well is please don't think that like it's all about spending hours in the gym every day or getting rid of everything that you enjoy, like a pint with your mates down the pub, or getting rid of like the chocolates and the guilty snack. You don't have to get rid of all of that. Like just a little goes a long way. So if we can all just get our activity up, like, you know, do half an hour walk a day, do a bit of swimming, like just every time I manage to get in the pool or go to the gym, it's not just about my waistline, it's also about, you know, my mental health as well.
One last thing, just for the record, like, it is aimed at kids, right? But you could be a 50-year-old, 60-year-old, 70-year-old person at home now thinking, oh, you know what, I wish I had a bit of movement, a bit of music. You've got Elton John. I mean, Elton John, I'm Still Standing, one of my favourite songs of all time. Like, I was at Glastonbury watching him perform the most amazing set. To think that I've got that song on the launch episode. So you're going to love the music. It's a 5-minute little movement break, and it doesn't matter what age you are, it's going to lift your mood. You're going to really love it. And there's little moments of humour. I'm so proud of it, and thanks for supporting it. And
no,
stuff.
you should be, Joe. And honestly, if the government had tried to do this ourselves, it wouldn't be as good as this. And it's really important. If we're going to make a genuinely healthier nation, we've got to swing in behind the people that are doing the good stuff and pulling in behind people as the government. And that's exactly what we've done here. And this is what gives me hope that we can actually tackle the obesity crisis, make our country healthier. It's about a team effort that involves government working, people like Joe, business, civil society, and all of us as individuals doing that little bit day by day, step by step.
Absolutely.
I've just had a message from the editor of Men's Health saying you're on 8 years' time. West Street front cover. Joe will help you.
You stitched me right.
Joe will help you.
The office is going to love it. Wait till I get back.
It is,
It's
though.
everyone else's day.
It's just for everyone watching, right? It's about breaking it down. Just last thing I want to say. Keep it simple. It's in the day, right? Don't think about tomorrow. It's like it's one workout at a time, one meal at a time, one food choice at a time. It's too overwhelming to think of it. It's like just small, simple things. Sleep, movement, and a bit more home cooking will change your life in so many ways.
Thank you both for coming in. It's great to see you. Good luck with it all. It's going to be brilliant.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Goodness me, we're joined now by two women who've also fallen victim to cosmetic complications. Our very own Ashley James and former Hollyoaks star Sarah Jane Dunn. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for coming in.
Morning.
Just looking at that footage there, Ashley, of Victoria and what she went through because she took a risk of getting a friend who she thought was qualified to inject her. It's terrifying for me. Both of you have been through a similar scenario. We'll come on to the details of it. What did you make of the research that we found, these statistics, Ashley?
Do you know what? I find it not very surprising. So even the fact that 1 in 4 women or people wouldn't think to check if the practitioner is qualified, why would you think to check? In the same way that if I go to the dentist, I don't think to be like, by the way, are you qualified to do this? You sort of just assume.
Well, no, but a dentist trains for 4 or 5 years. They go through medical school, so you understand there's been a lot of exams and physiology that's been passed.
I do understand that, but my point is that until I got involved in this campaign, I actually assumed, especially because it's like, you know, in the UK, loads of this stuff happens in like shops. I counted about 17 on my way in this morning. So you sort of assume that if somebody is doing injectables, that they have been trained to a level that is of UK standard. And obviously the issue is, what is the UK standard? But until getting involved in this, I actually wouldn't really have thought to check because you think, you know, why would you need to?
And you're similar, Sarah.
Yeah, the same. So my experience was about 8 years ago, and same as you, Ashley. I assumed, I didn't realise at that time, and I didn't realise until I'd had this procedure, and even until years later when I spoke to actual doctors, medical professionals, about what I'd had done and what had gone wrong, that it was a completely unregulated industry and that basically anyone can get hold of this stuff. And like on the footage, you're saying, you know, people are self-administering these products at home.
Yeah, and you worked in the clinic and there was somebody that gave you lip filler.
Yeah, so mine was lip filler. I worked in a beauty salon at the time, so I'd had my little boy. I was in between acting jobs, and my little boy, I think, was probably about 6-7 months old, and a practitioner came in to do injectables, had nobody booked in and offered me and the girls at the clinic, does anyone want a treatment?
Yes.
And naively, probably I was in quite a vulnerable place having just had a child and, you know, you don't really feel like yourself. You want a little bit of a glow up. So I was like, yeah, great. I mean, this guy obviously knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, it felt like a safe environment too.
Yeah.
You were there, right? You worked there.
Absolutely. But now looking back, you know, there was no pre-consultation, there were no patch tests, there was nothing. I didn't have to fill in any forms. I had the treatment done, and immediately, as having the treatment done, I realised, or I knew that something wasn't right. It was painful, it was uncomfortable. I could feel sort of the filler going in. I could feel that something wasn't right, and immediately after...
Is that you there in that picture?
That is me, yeah. That was immediately after. So I sent the pictures to a doctor that I'd been to previously. So the thing is, I'd had filler before.
Right, so you knew what it was supposed to feel like.
Yeah. And then it was painful, it was bruised, it was lumpy, it was swollen after, and I was embarrassed. There's then that sense of...
Bit of shame.
You feel shamed, yeah. I didn't even tell my husband. Obviously, he knew. But I went home and I remember sitting, having dinner, sort of feeling really uncomfortable. I didn't tell my parents. No. And it wasn't until I had corrective treatment. So I ended up having the filler dissolved a few years later and having it redone by a doctor once I knew what to look for, exactly. But like you were saying, if you don't know what to look for, where do you even start?
And it sounds like, as well, actually, to be fair to Sarah, like you were saying, she was in a beauty clinic. She was in a place where people come for these sorts of procedures and other sorts of treatments. Talk us through what you've been through.
Yeah, so I do get Botox for aesthetic reasons or anti-wrinkle injections. There's lots of different ones. I'm not sure which I had, but I get it for aesthetic reasons, but I also get it for jaw grinding.
I do as well, this side.
So I get, it's called like the masseter injection, and so it goes into your jaw, and I did it a few months ago. It lasts a bit longer than other areas, I think, because the muscle's so thick there. And
but that stops you grinding your teeth at night.
Stops you from grinding your teeth.
Okay.
Yeah. And basically, after about 2 days of getting it done, I realised that I couldn't smile. My face was completely paralysed, and it's actually only just worn off, so I can smile again, yay! But that was me. That was me trying to smile. And obviously, again, like you say, of like the shame and embarrassment, because I think whether you do it for reasons like grinding or whether you do it for aesthetics, when something does go wrong, it does feel really embarrassing, because I feel like there is this sort of like undeniable pressure with anti-aging. The messaging is everywhere, and you know, I would always say when I was younger, I'm going to grow old gracefully, whatever that means. But now I really support people's choice to decide, because I think the pressure is unbearable. We're all consuming so many different images of people online. When I came into the industry, it was kind of at the beginning of Instagram taking off, and I was being offered all these different injectables all the time for free.
Yeah, same.
And I still worry, actually, for people that come on to like a lot of like reality shows who come out with these huge platforms, because the problem is they also come out to a lot of criticism. You know, there is always like commentary about the way you look. So whether someone's commenting on the size of your lips or, you know, whatever it is, people are then like, oh, they're saying this about me, this person's offering me these injectables. But for me, I started because the messaging around me was like, the earlier you get it done, it's preventative. It's like, you know, they call it like this baby. It's like, almost feels like it's this harmless thing. And I always say now, like, I feel like I'm in a bit of a trap, because I actually don't love getting these injectables, and I feel really conflicted with it. I don't necessarily like the way I look after it, and obviously in this case I couldn't smile, so it really impacts me. But then I also feel like since I started, I'm a bit trapped in it, because I don't like how I look without it, now that it's worn off. And do you know that the film with Demi Moore, Substance, it does feel a little bit like that the more you focus on something, almost like the worse it becomes.
There is an irony there, isn't there? I think you've said this, actually, that these things that are supposed to make you feel better and feel happier had the exact opposite, and you couldn't even smile.
Yeah, well, I said the irony wasn't lost on me, that I get Botox, anti-wrinkle injections, whatever it may be, to feel happier, and I loved my smile and I lost my ability to smile.
Yeah. So what are the current regulations at the moment? Because clearly they don't seem to be far-reaching enough in any way, shape or form.
Yeah, so in Scotland, they actually have announced that they are bringing in better regulations. So there is going to be licensing both for practitioners but also premises. Because if you think about it, with premises, it's about insurance, hygiene, but actually in England and Wales, there is still quite varied regulations because it very much depends on the council. There's no UK-backed scheme at the moment, so there are no licences necessary.
It just does seem extraordinary, doesn't it? I mean, Sarah, interestingly, you grew up as an actress in a world when you were a teenager and magazines were a lot more ruthless about how girls looked, particularly girls. They would pick on men and male, but it wasn't as much as the girls. That sort of shifted a bit, I think. But the access, as Ashley was saying, is that people can get to you now because of the advent of Instagram, the advent of online. You make a very good living from being able to do that and share that online. How are you navigating that and the need that you feel to portray yourself and to maintain your ageing, whether it's gracefully or anti-ageing or whatever you're doing? How do you manage and navigate that?
I think now, as a woman in my 40s, I am much more like everything that I do is now just for me. I enjoy getting anti-wrinkle injections and the lip filler because it makes me feel better. I don't do it for anyone else. I get it done like I would get my hair done. You know, if I feel like I need my hair doing, I'll go and get my colour and my cut done. If it's a year and I've not had my anti-wrinkle injections, I'll go and get them done. It just makes me feel nicer. But saying that, when I started getting them done late 20s, early 30s, it definitely was a different reason. I definitely did feel pressure to look a certain way. You know, I'm about to turn 30, or I'm getting to that point where, as a woman, I'm no longer valid unless I look younger. So it definitely did start from that place. And what worries me is now, with the online community, is that young girls are getting these things done. They don't need them. They may never need them or want them. It's never going to be a need. It will always be a choice, but it's accessible. And the worrying thing is that it's so unregulated and anyone can do it. And there's this pressure. So even as a woman in my early 30s, I fell into this trap of getting this procedure done by someone that wasn't qualified, and it went wrong. Imagine the pressure that young women are facing, and men that are facing, with everything that's being force-fed to them online. Yeah. It really does need to be policed and regulated.
Yeah, and it's about getting recommendations, and it's
100%.
about moderation too. What are the tougher regulations you'd like to see, Ashley?
So there's an amazing government-approved register of doctors, nurses and dentists called Save Face. So they are calling for tougher government legislation for non-surgical cosmetic treatments. Yeah. So obviously they want a dedicated task force to ensure that existing laws are effectively enforced and that these high-risk procedures are banned on the high street, because when you think about it, you know, you need licensing for so many different things, so why not this? And like I said earlier, I would just always assume that if someone is promoting anti-wrinkle injectables, especially, you know, lots of people, you see them promoting them online, you would just automatically assume that they are registered. So they are calling on government legislation.
It's an extraordinary risk to take, isn't it? To be able to go to someone that you don't know the background of, and you don't know what they're injecting you, but also for the person that's doing it to take that risk, knowing that they could cause the damage that we had.
Because they don't understand the biology and where the muscle groups are.
Terrifying.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Thank you for coming on the show, ladies, and for chatting about it.
Yeah, definitely interesting. Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.